Okay, yeah, all good.
Spot on. Thank you,
And of
buddy.
course, it was covered in bananas, but I was extremely drunk.
Couldn't help myself.
Oh, oh.
Interestingly, if you go back and watch every episode of Riffs, which you can't do yet, but you will be able to very soon, um, I think every one of our video introductions starts with Gary talking about something to do with vegetables, which I think talks about his disgusting and base nature.
Marrow!
£2 a pair.
Tomorrow.
Don't get started on gherkins, lads.
Oh,
Slippy.
tickle that pickle.
Slippy.
Oh.
Right. Couple of little notes. So last session, you guys went to see Gnor, the merchant. You found out that he'd been mugged in a canyon by some bandits. And you went to the canyon, you found the explosion site, having got yourself 7 horses from old Jed, who recognized Laugh Track and was intimidated by Harnoop. And then in a classic display, Harnoop rode off into the sunset, and while Laugh Track and Sister Swan managed to keep up, everybody else really struggled, and Young bust his nose. And then Sister Swan fell off her horse, Bunty, having zapped Bunty in the testicles with a fireball by accident and suffered a level of fatigue. You had a number of horse-based shenanigans, but you found yourself here in this canyon where you were accosted by a bandit and or a bandit leader and a number of his entourage. There were 12 of them, all aiming guns at you down from the bluff. And before he could do some kind of great sort of oratory, Harnoop disappeared, reappeared on top of the cliff in a very bold move, tried to cast a protection spell on himself, which failed because he was trying to do a few too many things at once, and then exploded a blast power at the bandits, which they were all quite shocked, but it didn't affect any of them. And then combat took over, and all the bandits piled on in. So they attacked back. The 3 bandits on the bluff all swung at Harnoop with bats, and he managed to defend himself, but he took a bit of a shaken blow from the final one, but he managed to shake it off. Laugh Track got shot and took a wound, but he soaked it with a soak roll, and so he ignored that wound. It did not apply. And then Yong was driven to his knees in a hail of gunfire. So in his brand new cowboy hat and cowboy jacket, he's disappeared in a big explosion of sand and gunfire, and you've just seen him drop to his knees. About 4 or 5 of these guys all opened up with automatic weapons from the cliff top into the poor Asian boy on the right. Now, there's a couple of corrections to make because I went through the video and I did some of combat wrong. This was all me. One of it is not in your favor, but one of it is in your favor. And we're going to apply it retrospectively in the right way because it doesn't undo many things, but we want to do things properly. So the first thing is quickly on mega damage and how it works, because in the second round, Harnoop cast a mega damage.
Yeah, because the first round I didn't do enough damage, so I upgraded my spell
to mega damage, and then shredded these guys and sort of vaporized them. So I made a mistake there. So the way mega damage works, I was correct last week. And having watched the video back, I was out letting the dogs out when Phil was talking about this. And you are correct, Phil, that in old Rifts, mega damage was converted to standard damage at a rate of 1 to 100. So if you did 1 mega damage, you did 100 damage to someone and you just obliterated them. And somebody who did mega damage or had mega damage armor could not be hurt by standard damage, no matter how high. It could be 1,000,000 standard damage, but it wouldn't do mega damage. In Savage Worlds, they've streamlined mega damage a bit, but also made it less stupid.
Basically, to make it more playable.
I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of that.
Like Palladium Rifts was, if you had mega damage stuff, you ignored half the people in the world, and the other half were scary to you. That was the roleplay game. Or if you didn't have mega damage stuff, everything in the world could just kill you as long as they hit their actual shot. It didn't feel fun. It just felt a bit stupid. So the way mega damage works in this is that if you have mega damage armor, or you're a being with a mega damage psionic shield on or whatever, normal weapons can't hurt you. So they have to be mega damage weapons to do that. That rule still applies. But when doing mega damage, it doesn't do any more damage. What it does do is it allows you to damage tanks and vehicles and heavily armored stuff. It also, if you injure somebody with a mega damage attack and they are not wearing mega damage armor, if it's a player character, for example, one of you takes a mega damage hit, you won't instantly die. So if you take 34 mega damage, it's the same as taking normal damage, except that if you take a wound from it, you will always take a permanent injury as if you'd been knocked unconscious.
Cool.
Normally, if you're knocked unconscious and then fail your death save, essentially, you can take a permanent injury. In this, if you take a hit from mega damage, it could blow your arm off. It could shoot you in the bollocks or give you a brain injury. So it is dangerous, but it's more narratively dangerous.
It's not lethal instantaneously.
Yeah, it's not binary. It's not you either live or die. So what happened with Harnoop's second attack is he shook all of the bandits. And I said, oh, it's mega damage, so they're all dead.
They're not dead.
Well, no, I looked into it. They're all shaken because you shook them. They didn't take any wounds. If they'd taken a wound, they'd all have been obliterated by mega damage.
And they take wounds if the damage roll is over their toughness.
If they take wounds for each raise that the damage roll is over their toughness. So if it beats their
raise
toughness,
is 4, isn't it?
Yeah. So if it beats their toughness, they're shaken. If it beats their toughness by 4 or more, they're shaken and they take a wound for each raise above that.
Right.
And how many wounds can a mook typically take?
0. Well, they can take 1 and then they go out of the fight. So the other thing is these mooks are now shaken. If they get shaken again, even if they don't take a wound, if you just beat their toughness or equal their toughness and shake them again, it will count as a wound because 2 shakes from a physical source equals a wound.
And is shaken the condition that you can roll at the start of your turn to get rid of it, like shake off the shaking, sort of recover.
Yeah, so they at the moment they can do nothing but move unless they pass a spirit check, in which case they'll get to act normally. Although their normal action may still be to flee, given that they've been shredded up pretty badly and shaken, but they're not obliterated. So that's the first correction. The second one is right at the end of the session. It was Laugh Track to go, and he ran up and attacked the bandit leader.
Yes. He ran really far.
Yeah, he shook the bandit leader, but didn't wound him. The bandit leader shook off his shooken so that he was not shooken. But then he attacked back with a vibro longsword and did 34 mega damage, which meant that Laugh Track was going to take 4 wounds, the most you can take in rifts. Laugh Track rolled a vigor check. He spent a Benny to soak and ignored 2 of those wounds, meaning he took 2 wounds. What I forgot, and this is something that we will get better at as the game goes on, but there's so many individual things to track on different characters. As a crazy, you have an edge, which means that if you are aware of an attack, Laugh Track, they are always at -2 to hit you because you're so fast.
Ah, cool.
It's like uncanny reflexes or something.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
I went back and watched the video. That attack wouldn't have applied. He only hit you. He only beat your parry by 1 point. So if we'd taken that 2 off, he would have missed. Now, in the future, I'm not going to always retcon these things as we see them, but we're all learning the game. It's all very new.
It's not a bad thing to kind of do, actually.
No. But I think what I will say is read and learn your character sheets. Not, you don't need to know them by rote, but the more you know, particularly your edges and your hindrances.
We've only got 1 character sheet to keep track of. You've got 4. Yeah.
And the less likely we are then to miss those. And as we go forwards, we're going to get to a point where if you forget to use something or say something, tough, that's the way it goes. And the same for my guys as well. Last week, I forgot all of my guys have a rate of fire 3 and could have been doing full auto 3 attacks a turn at an increased penalty. So, we'll live and learn.
All right.
Normally, at the start of the session, we would all get fresh bennies. But we're in the middle of combat, and I'm not going to do that because that sort of breaks the Benny economy in combat. We'd suddenly end up with, because we ran until 11 last week, you're suddenly able to soak a ton of damage again. It takes some of the penalty out. So what we'll do is after your next significant rest, I will give you all your 3 bennies back. And with that, we find ourselves in combat, and we were in the middle of the first round of combat. So if we look on the combat tracker, the cross swords on the top right-hand side, next up to act was Sister Swan. The bandit leader had just taken his attack on Laugh Track, which he missed. And I'd like, before we start, sorry, Phil.
I was going to say, the 3 guys that are up with me are now shaken, but not dead. What happened? I know that the 2 beefy melee boys ran up. Did they do any damage to that gang of 4? Did they shake the bandit?
The gang of 4.
The bandit leader was shaken. So Dexter Teasel did very little. Laugh Track broke the armor and made the bandit leader bleed, and he was shaken, but he shook it off. So other than that, those 4 guys are all relatively pristine.
Right. All right. I just couldn't remember exactly where we were in terms of how much progress it made. Not as much as we thought.
No, so you have shaken 3 people. Other than that, everybody else is now fine and back to fighting fitness.
Cool.
And the only saving grace you've got is a nun and a presumably dead Asian boy who's been shot.
And we've got that, the nun's little assistant.
You have also got
like the medic, right?
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. So, Sister Swan, it's your turn. We are not even 6 seconds into this combat, and you've had 2 comrades sprint off into the distance, one disappear and reappear on a bluff, and bullets are flying all over the place. You were shot at, but not hit. Young to your side has been pretty impressively blasted. What is Sister going to do?
First thing she's going to do is try and heal Young. She's got healing miracles, and she's going to use the skull. You know, the skull in the
I've sent.
Are you trying to help heal the person who's not injured rather than the 2 people who are really injured?
I thought Young was.
Got shot. Got taken out by.
I thought he got riddled by bullets.
He did get riddled by bullets. Yeah.
He got riddled by bullets, but there was no noise of him taking damage. Like, that was the key omission through the whole.
Yeah, there was no discussion of death or wounds.
No, there absolutely wasn't.
I
thought there was. I think that's GM error.
There was something else I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to apply damage to Young. Sister Swan, you know that Young at the moment is not in any significant danger. You've known Young a while.
Okay. Slowly raise the skull instead of going to Young high in the air, so all the villains can see it. Okay. And then I'm going to use... Right. This is my idea. This is the idea that
I've been
was
waiting all week for
crystallising.
this.
I'm so excited.
Crystallising last
The one
week.
that you said, I'm not going to say it because you'll say no. Well, you've got to say it now. And I'm more inclined to say no because you've made me wait. What are we doing?
Right, what we're doing is... Sister Swan's going to look into the skull. I was going to say,
Sledge.
what's the song? Anyway, she looks into the skull, and the eye orbits of the skull start to burn, right? And what I want the Sister Swan to do, if the GM kindly allows me, is I want to use all my bennies, if that's possible, as a big boost. Okay.
No, but carry on. Let's see where this is going.
Okay. Basically, what I'll do, Rob, is I want to do a intense burst of heat, which is going to like detonate like a radius around Swan, as far as where Laughing Track is, and up the canyon walls and over both sides of the canyon walls. This is why I want to use a lot of me things if I can. I'm happy to use all my PowerPoints if I need to. And what the level of heat is going to do, it's going to hopefully do little to no damage to my comrades. However, everybody that it hits, it's going to detonate their ammo and ammo packs. So I don't want to detonate the people. I just want to blow up the ammunition and the guns and the laser packs so they can't use them.
I absolutely love the RP narrative of it, but you're right. I'm going to say absolutely no. A, that is not how bennies work. And B, I'm going to say that if you were to create a fiery aura of that size, to expend enough power to do it, you are not going to have the energy to stop it just immolating Kareen and
everyone else burns with it.
The other thing is, if you look at your list of powers, you don't have a power that is remotely close to that. So you can't spend bennies to invent a cooler, more impressive psychic power.
I'm a walking embodiment of flame.
But you are a walking embodiment of flame. So you could cast a fiery aura, you could fire a firebolt at a number of people, you could do all sorts of cool things because that's what you're good at. But you can't just pick and choose a power that doesn't exist,
Well, like
even
immolate
though it's cool
a
narrative
quarter
fun.
square.
So apart from
Yeah, but only specifically ammo packs and
so apart from the power and
It's good
using the
narrative,
power to
though, wasn't
describe
it?
what you did, and
It was a
using
good narrative,
PowerPoints and
though.
using bennies, like apart from those 4 things, it was a
Can't
brilliant
do it.
idea.
it was perfect. It was perfect. And I am not one to say no for cool things, but we spent 2 hours
No.
making character sheets for each of you, and if we're just gonna 7th see it and say I have the power to do this, then we might as well just play that. So no.
Right, okay, so can I do a flame bolt like an SMG and just go like across the ridgeline?
Yeah, so you've got so you can do a number of things with that. So flame bolt, you can basically hurl a bolt of fire.
Yep.
You can cast it either as a normal spell or as a mega damage spell. And the mega version, the difference here between your mega version and Phil's mega version is your mega version does more damage. It does D8s rather than D6s if you do it as a blaster power.
Right.
So it might be worth going up to sort of mega powered for you. Whereas for Phil's, it didn't make much
Can't only
difference.
hit one person, is it? Like a single target?
No,
Or...
it only hits one person.
Okay.
But you could choose to cast it 3 times in a turn, but with a negative penalty to each one. You could choose to do multi-action.
Okay.
You can also just running through your powers, so we remember what they are. You can also set yourself on fire with a fiery aura.
That sounds clever.
So that would be one action. So the genius of the fiery aura is anything that gets within range of you automatically catches fire. That's all adjacent beings, including allies. So you would set fire to Kareen if you did that. And you can spend extra power points to make that mega damage. So you could, for example, you've got the Warhammer, where is it? The Holy Hammer of Saint Sebastian.
Yeah.
If you put the fiery aura on, if you were in close combat, it would automatically apply that fire to your Holy Hammer. But I think you're right. I think the bolt power is, or whatever, flame bolt is the most relevant power from where you are. It's got a range of smarts times 2, I think, and your smarts die is a D8.
8,
so that'd be a range of 16. So I'm going to say that you could hit the guys on the canyon edge with that.
Right. Up too far away to get where Laughing Track is, isn't it?
Well, you could hit the guys around Laugh Track. The problem is if you miss with it, you could hit Laugh Track or Dexter because they are closer. Only if you roll. Actually, no. If you rolled a crit fail, the power wouldn't go off, so you'd be fine.
I can take these guys out. Well,
yeah,
I can try these guys up here. If you worry about these guys on the other side,
right? Yeah. 3 flame bolts into the guys on the right hand side.
Oh, you go for all 6. 3. Nice. So are you going for 3 different targets and just hoping you can pop one off with each?
Like ideally, what I would like to do, but it depends on a lot of factors, is fire the bolt if these guys stood right on the edge of the canyon, just beneath the feet, so hopefully it explodes and they fall down the canyon wall. But I think I'll go for a direct attack and do 3 bolts each, or 3 bolts at 3 targets.
3 bolts at 3 targets. That is perfect. And are you going with the mega damage version or the normal? And the difference is, one is mega damage, but you don't really think that will make a difference. But it's 3d6 damage for a flame bolt.
Okay.
Okay, this works with either, actually. You don't have to go with the blaster power. So it'll do 3d6. That's not mega damage. The wording on some of these is wrong, which is a bit of a shame. It'll do 3d6 damage for 1 power point. So you'd spend 3 power points to cast it 3 times. Or if you cast it at 2 power points, so 6 in total, you'd do it at 4d6 and 5d6 in a raise. That's a lot of damage. And you've got plenty of power points, so you could certainly do that.
Would I be able to do it as a blast, like an explosion? Like a fireball, so it can get more than 1 person, or is it very specific bolt?
No, it specifically says it's 1 target but you can cast it multiple times a turn. So like you said, like a machine gun, you can just sort of fling bolts of fire.
That's what I'll do then.
And I'm just going to read this in the Rifts book because the description in the two different powered versions on the character sheet are exactly the same. But the point is one costs 3 times as much as the other. So they're not the same. I think it's like page, here we go, 25.
Flame. Blaster
Where
flame
are
bolt.
we? There we are, bursters. Fire mastery, etc., etc. Here we go. Flame bolt. So you can hurl forth the flaming bolt of 3d6 mega damage or 4d6 on a raise for 1 ISP, or 4d6, 5d6 on a raise for 2. So it is always mega damage, your fireball. You don't have to spend any extra to boost it. You can use power modifiers as normal. What that means is, and I'll quickly share this with you, combat will speed up as we learn these things, but obviously the first time we do anything, powers in Savage Worlds are quite a specific one because where's my use? Here we go, tables and useful info. There's a lot of standard modifiers you can apply to your powers to make them cost a bit more but do other things.
Yeah.
So
damage shields and all that sort of stuff.
That's not the one I was looking for.
Oh no, Blaster Flame Bolt.
Here we go. Powers cheat sheet. I'll show you this again.
All of mine are listed underneath my individual powers on my character sheet. So I don't know if that Gaz is
no, they're not. I've clicked and checked. So for example, Gaz, standard ones that you can apply to anything, for 1 extra power point, you can make it armor piercing. You get 2 AP per extra power point you spend. You can spend an extra 2 power points to make it fatigue people. I wouldn't worry about that.
Selective would be good if you were doing the massive flame explosion that killed everyone.
Yeah, so you
Actually,
could then spend selective to make something hit fewer people, but you couldn't spend something to make something hit more people.
Right. Okay. I'll just stick with the 3 flame bolt shots.
So 3 flame bolts. So are you going to do them as D6s? Why on earth is it now telling me?
If they're all mega damage, I don't think you need to try and. It depends how many power points you've got.
If it's a flame bolt, it's D6, and if it's a blaster flame bolt, it's I can change it from a D6 to a D8, and it increases. Yeah.
But on your character sheet, it doesn't say anywhere anything about blast. Oh,
I had to go into the.
Powers. I know why. This is why we have to learn riffs. You've got the blaster edge, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. You've got. Yes, that's right. Which means that when you're using a mega power modifier with blast, bolt, burst, or damage field, you increase the die from D6 to D8, and each power point spent on armor piercing gives armor piercing 4 instead of armor piercing 2. So that's why.
So it's really powerful, yeah.
So what it means is, what I'll do, I will take your normal flame bolt. I'm going to unfavorite that so it doesn't appear on the front of your character sheet, because that doesn't apply to you because you've always got blaster.
Okay.
So you're going to do. It's going to cost. It isn't going to cost 3 power points, though. It should still just be 1 power point. Yeah. It's the fact that you took the blaster edge when you. Oh no, sorry. That's why you've got both versions. So yes, you have the option of the blaster as a D8 or the normal as a D6. My fault. I'm slowing this down. What I will say is the fact that it's mega damage doesn't really matter in this case, because they don't have mega damage armor and they only have 1 wound. So you either do a wound and kill them, or you don't do a wound, whether it's mega damage or not, and they end up shaken. So I wouldn't worry about whether it's mega damage or not. What you really want to do is do enough damage to tap them out.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll do like I said originally. Then modified originally. the three blaster bolts.
Cool.
on
So
the guys on the bridge line.
what I need you to do, and we'll do these one at a time, please, is to roll me a psionics check. So you've got the psionics skill. In fact, no, sorry. When you click on Flame Bolt normal on your character sheet, there's a button that says trait rolls psionics. So you can click on psionics and it will put it in the character sheet. And
I just roll
when
it.
No, because when it asks you to roll, click on at the very top where it says multi-action penalty, click on -4. Because you're casting 3 of them. So those are your 3 actions in a turn. And we're going to see if these hit. And you've got 5 bennies here. So we've got plenty. Oh, God, and your dice are exploding. Okay, so even with the -4, the first one is a hit. Let's roll all the hits first and work out where. No, because we might want to spend bennies on damage. So we'll resolve
can I
this
just
first
ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry to interrupt, but where it's got like it's got a 4 and it's got a little kind of starry thing there. Does that mean that's an exploded dice, or is that a raise? Is that the number of raises? Like
I
it's got a
think
little starry thing. What does that mean?
It means it's on the wild die, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I think that's tracking the wild die.
That was checking the wild die.
Yeah.
Okay. Rather than I understand now. Yeah.
Or it might mean, it must be. It must be tracking the wild die. Because if you hover over it says.
Yeah.
So yes, if you will roll me the 3d6 damage. So just underneath that on the front of your character sheet, there's a button that just says 3d6. So yeah, that will hit, and you.
I've got it saying 3d8.
That's because you're under Flamebolt Blaster. Do you want to do the Blaster version? You can do. It'll cost you more power points. It costs you 3.
No, I'll just do the Flamebolt and I'll just do the damage on the 3d6.
Right, 3d6 then.
Is there? Yeah.
And no armor piercing or anything on this. Ooh.
5 points of damage.
So the first guy is hit, but it sort of singes him and blasts him backwards, but no obvious visual damage. Roll me your second psionics check, please.
You can use a Benny to reroll the damage.
Yes, you can. You can use a Benny on damage.
I'll hold back on that for now, because Sister Swan really isn't a killer. She just wants these people to stop. Am I still on the -4, Rob?
You're definitely not a killer yet. Yeah, you're on a -4 for all of them because it's a multi-action penalty. So every action is at -4 if you do 3 in a turn. Okay, so that is not a success unless you want to spend a Benny on it.
Now I'll spend a Benny. That's possible, please.
Yeah, so you can just click the Benny button underneath and it will re-roll it for you.
Okay. Do I need to click on anything again?
Oh, yeah, click Psionics again. I thought it would do the re-roll for you. That's not.
I don't think it did it for me last week. I can't remember.
Yeah, I thought it did. Oh.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can continue to spend bennies, but...
No, just go on to the third blast.
Okay, so the third blast...
So there's a multi-action penalty for these 3 blasts.
Ignore that one. Ignore that one.
This is what happened to me last week. I'm trying to do 3 things at once.
Yeah. And the better you get at things, the higher your skills are and stuff, the less that multi-action is a negative. But at early levels, it's tricky.
9,
right, so
5.
unless you want to spend a Benny on that,
I'll spend a penny. I'll spend a penny.
Yeah, you've got plenty of them. Let's get these guys nuked.
Right, so just re-roll that again.
Yep.
I'm really hoping for the...
Still at -4?
The exploding dice, aren't you?
Always at -4. That's it. We have it. We have to get an exploding die here to get this to work. Oh, no.
No.
What's it look like, guys? Because obviously you've missed a couple of these, but when you're throwing these firebolts, are you
throwing things? They come from the eyes or the eyes of the skull?
Come from the eyes of the skull with him doing it this way.
Like
little bolts, like little fireballs. Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
Technically, you've already defined how this power looks, Gaz, because you have used it before.
Oh, with the ones with the little fiery...
Yeah. So
yeah. Okay, so there's that as well. Basically, they're like fiery filaments. You know, almost like strands of red-hot wire that seem to stretch out and just reach for each target that I'm reaching for and try and lash it and burn it and twist it. So the first one I do, I give it a little tickle, and he spins round on the spot. I try for the second one and just end up grabbing his trouser leg and just singeing his trouser leg. And the third one, it goes above him and hits a cactus near him, and he just goes pump.
And
Oh no!
are you like? I don't want to put words into your mouth, but are you sort of inciting religious doctrine? Are you sort of blaspheming? No, die blasphemer. What, are you saying anything, or are you just going?
I'm muttering a canticle.
Okay, well, excuse you.
Oh, mechanicals.
Oh,
Excellent.
oh.
You're kind of a hot nun lady.
It's a hot
Hot
nun.
nun lady singing canticles.
Hot nuns.
Or is it repeating canticles?
I guess from Harnoop's view, because he's on the cliff,
Yeah.
all I see
same
is these fire sticks shooting up from below these fire lines.
Yeah.
And you see that they are less effective than what you've done so far and feel smoke.
Well, I'm not sure I feel smoke. Feel
Um,
disappointed.
So, Young, I would like you to describe your death, please. You've been shot by, it's your turn, and you've been shot
Isn't
by
it Kareem?
a million people. Oh, no, that's true. Kareen gets to go before we see Young die.
Brilliant.
Well remembered. So, Gaz, you're in control of Kareen. You've got her character sheet. She is a combat medic, but she also has a gun, and she is relatively
She's the most
competent.
effective member of the team.
Yeah,
She's got
an
to
ion
Young
pulse rifle.
because she doesn't know Young hasn't been hit or is immune to it. I take
Well,
it.
Young is, he's
It's
definitely
only
not.
Swan.
I'm okay.
And Young.
Let's just say I'm okay.
It's not immune to getting shot, but we haven't described his death yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're going to resolve it on Young's turn because it'll be fun to watch Mike cry.
I think what Kareem will do then is take up a covering position. Whatever firearm she's got, she would aim to cover Laughing Track fighting the big dude in front of her. Try and get a pot shot.
So she could move up to 6, I believe. I think most people have a pace of 6.
Right.
And
using cover.
I mean, there really isn't much in that canyon, but there is that scrub. There's that sort of bush scrub, which isn't great. It doesn't provide any hard cover, but it might break line of sight a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can certainly move her to kind of any of these squares. Also, if you can move her far enough down this bit of the canyon here, she might be, I suppose they can lean over the top, but it might put her, maybe putting this rock between them, the one that's shaped like a pair of testicles. That might just stop her getting shot from above.
Testicle rock.
So, yeah.
Didn't they write a book?
Ballsack
Picnic
rock.
Cat Testicle Rock.
Ballsack rock. The Battle of Ballsack Rock.
the Battle of Scroat Hill.
Oh my God, this is the name of the episode, The Battle of Ballsack Rock.
Right. So Kareen will go to that point where the
right.
rather unusual rock formation is.
So 1, 2, 3.
Hopefully that gives her a bit of cover as well.
Yeah, she can get to there.
Yeah,
you should be able to move it, Gaz.
Paused for everyone else, or just me?
Sorry. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I paused it because last week Mike started clicking on stuff. But yeah,
amazingly, it does look like a ball sack. It's amazing. It's like a couple of slightly hairy balls.
Yeah, it's even got like a little sort of fuzzy suggestion.
If looking down, it could be cleavage.
That's some unhealthy cleavage.
No. Yeah.
Maybe not up north.
So you want to move Kareen up here, Gaz?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, she's got a an NGIP7 ion pulse rifle. So an ion rifle is essentially a shotgun. What it does is it fires powered particles that essentially wear and strip the target's flesh. Shotguns are pretty cool in Rift's Earth. In Savage Worlds in general. You get +2 to hit with them because of the spread. But the effect of them, the damage they do, drops off with range. So they do more damage at short range than they do at long range. So it does 3d10 damage, but at medium range, it'll go down to 2d10. At long range, it'll go down to 1d10. The other thing with this is it's got the heavy pulse ability, which allows you to fire it as a single shot, but use 3 rounds to do mega damage. She doesn't really need to do that, but it has the option. So if you want to pick a target, the range on the ion pulse rifle is It's on the front of her character sheet.
Like
Short range is 20. So even the guys up on the cliff, she should be able to hit, or this end guy here that's fighting Dexter. As long as she doesn't miss and accidentally shoot Dexter, you'll be fine.
Cool. She'll try and do that then.
Which one's she going for?
The one Dexter.
Okay, right. The one in front of Dexter. So
Yeah.
on Kareen's character sheet, if you'll click me a shooting roll, please, under her skills. Or in fact,
Okay.
if you click on the pulse rifle on the front of the page, you can click on shooting.
Okay, because that'll count. 2 ticks.
And it should automatically, because it's a shotgun, the game should automatically add +2 to this. So she should be pretty keyed up to do a good hit. And she's only looking for a target number 4. I'm going to say...
my gear answer. I'm doing it from my gear answer, Rob.
Well, if you do it from the very front page of the character sheet, it doesn't work from the gear. It only works from the quick access menu on the traits tab at the very front of the character sheet. But the ion rifle's in there. So if you click on the name of the ion rifle, it'll open up and then there's a shooting option underneath.
It's not on there. My traits are attributes on one side.
In which case, if you'll just roll me, because this is going to be a neutral roll, because you get +2 because it's a shotgun, but I'm going to say it's at -2 because currently that guy is fighting with Dexter, making it a little, he's in the melee. So if you'll just roll me a shooting skill, please, from her character sheet. No modifiers, because she's only doing 1 action this turn. But of course, she doesn't get the wild die. So
Nice.
Did that hit? 9?
You got 11.
So, first off,
11.
Oh,
she did roll a wild die. Why is she rolling a wild die?
Is that because you've assigned her to a player?
No, it was only 1 dice, right, Rob? Maybe it's every D6 gets that, but it was just 1 dice roll.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Because but when right, if you click on the number 9 in Kareen's shooting, 1d6. So where's that?
Well, actually, rolled twice. It rolled
Well,
2 dice.
Yeah, but it hit a 6, so it.
Oh, sorry, it exploded.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Dickheads.
No, you're right. You're right. That's
good job you're here, Phil. Fucking hell.
It's a good job of playing this because it's simpler than normal rifts. Right. So
this is easier than normal rifts.
So I
Jesus,
think
mate,
the cog,
this is so
the
much
cog
easier.
symbol means it's exploded, right? Because all the
Yeah,
other
the cog symbol means cog symbol means explosion.
Or it's a critical failure in the case when Sister Swan rolled a 1 for the cog.
Yeah, and the critical fail has a different icon. It's a red icon.
Yeah,
So right, so that die has exploded, which is why it's got an explosion symbol, I guess, next to it. So she gets an 11. That is a hit with a raise. It's not quite 2 raises because it's range combat. We're looking for 4s. If you still don't have the ion rifle on the front sheet, Gaz, I'll click the damage for you because there's a different button for the 3 different types.
Is it 3d10, heavy pulse, medium, long range?
That's right. Yeah, you can see it. So if you just click the 3d10, please, and when it opens up the box, at the very bottom, click the middle button that says roll raise, and it will add the extra dice for the raise.
I love seeing loads of dice. Look at that.
Oh my god!
14,
points of
15.
damage.
Told you Kareem was badass.
She is, isn't she?
30 points of damage. Gaz, talk me through it.
So basically, she pumps the shotgun. There's a slight whine and delay as the energy builds up, and she points it up at the targets up on the ridge, and just tucks it into her shoulder, squeezes it like she's been trained to. Boom, and it just goes whoomp, and the first target it hits just explodes.
Is she shooting the guy that's fighting Dexter? Am I right?
Yeah.
Right.
Who's Dexter again?
The guy at the front next to
over on the
Mickey.
Top left.
Up here.
Because I
thought it was one of the guys up here on the ridge, wasn't it? She was shooting.
Well, Rob said, "Are you shooting guy next to Dexter?" Gaz said, "Yes."
Yeah,
Gaz
because
doesn't know who
otherwise
Dexter
Gaz
is.
would have been at +2 to hit and done even more damage. Well, wouldn't have done any more damage. Either way, if you want to shoot the guy on the ridge, that makes more sense. You're less likely to kill Dexter, and he can handle that guy. So this guy up here instead is dead.
Okay.
Yeah, I think look. That's what because Gav was saying he was shooting up at the guys in the ridge.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted.
Well, that made more sense to me, but I did put a penalty in because you did say you were shooting the guy next to Dexter, so I said there's a chance you hit
I
him.
just lost track of who Dexter was because I was like, oh, we haven't got a Dexter in the party. We've got Laughing Shark. We've got Harnoop. We've got Young. We've got me.
Got
Got
these, but thank you.
NPCs.
Yeah, we got NPCs.
when
You've just used one to kill somebody. The first
when Mickey this afternoon said that him and Dex were going to go and take those baddies out, I was like, Dex, you mean Dax?
Yeah.
I was like, that's quite clever. Quite clever.
Right.
I'd forgotten who Dex was. As
We've officially changed. He's no longer an American. This is Dexter Teasel. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. There'll be enough of that when we hit Traveller. Don't let me get started. Right, Gaz, you've technically got the first kill of the campaign. Or Kareem has. Well done.
Great.
So now we come to the question that nobody's been asking, which is Young dead or not? So Young, you went out. You went out and bought yourself before you came here, and I'm not going to go into the specifics of how as a penniless guy, but you must have somehow traded or sold favors or let somebody play on your Dig Dug game. But you got yourself a full cowboy outfit ready to ride out here, and it was pristine.
Coat's
it was
a bit long.
Still creaking. Yeah, coat's a bit long. The hat curls up at the edges. When you move, it feels a bit sort of stiff, like the leather's never been worn. And suddenly there's this hail of bullets from the top of the cliff. One guy just misses you, which feels badass, and you kind of swing around, and then three guys all put bullets into you and all rolled pretty decent damage. And holes are punched in your coat, and as you said last week, it drives you down to one knee in this sort of exploding pool of sand. Tell us what happens next.
Okay. So Young sort of gets bum, 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 back, and he sort of goes down onto one knee, and then he's kind of like sort of falls down onto his side, and he just kind of lies there in a bit of a kind of crumpled heap. And there's a couple more bullets go bum, 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 and there's a few bullets that around the ground, and there's loads of dust that gets thrown up, and it's kind of like a little bit kind of dusty, and it's very tragic sounds, music playing in your mind, and then there's like a strobe. There's a kind of a bit of a strobe light that comes from him, and it's like a kind of like a flickering light, and it's like, oh, I can't really see, but it's lighting up the dust, so it's very atmospheric. And then this crumpled heap of Young just starts to kind of grow and grow and grow, and it grows quite big actually, and it just looks like a big kind of heap, looks like almost like a rock, or like a big pile of cloth, and then two big wings kind of unfurl from this big heap.
How big are the wings, Michael?
It's about 6 meters wide. These big kind of like bat-like kind of wings, these big like bat-like wings kind of come out, and they start to kind of go like this, and then uncurling from this kind of body, this kind of heap, this serpentine kind of neck starts to kind of come up and kind of stretch. And
serpentine,
these wings,
you say?
Serpentine. And these kind of like big wings kind of flap. And it's like, it's kind of like this big hulking kind of shape, like black, but kind of coarse with red veins. And there's a smell of kind of sulfur. There's a sulfurous smell in the air. And then there's just this kind of dragon. There's a kind of dragon-like, let's just say, kind of dragon-like, dragony.
So would you, for example, Young, like me to put up a picture of how you're in now?
Is there a smell? You said there was a smell.
Yeah,
there's a sulfurous smell.
Is he still wearing any? Is it like the red leather hat off of his head or his glasses, or is he just?
No. All clothes and stuff are absorbed during your transformation.
Right. And I guess Harnoop can't see this because I'm far enough away from the edge. So do I just see sort of shadows being flung up by the light on the edge of the canyon opposite me, so I can just see this weird shape appearing?
And I'm going to say, Harnoop, you can see the top of Young's head as he finishes his transformation from where you are, because he's a good 10 to 15 meters tall at the shoulder.
All right.
So you can just see the top of his sort of scaly head emerging into your view.
Well, yeah, so Harnoop isn't surprised It's like, well, why wasn't? Because Hanuk knew that Young was shape shifted.
Oh,
But I'm like, well, why wasn't he a dragon all the fucking time? What do you think? All right.
So we're going to
Does it have a
do
different
a couple of things.
fiery doom upon these fuckers. So it's a
Oh,
kind of
that was
like,
the other question.
like a
Do you
like a
still
lean
have-
forward.
you'd like fly up.
Do you still have bullet holes or wounds or bleeding, or
No.
are you completely?
No, I'm fine.
So let us first off. So you haven't had access.
And you're like a
to
level 1
this.
character, is that right?
There are no levels in Rifts. Everyone is badass from day one,
Obviously.
and they stay badass until they die.
They die.
So, Mike, I'm going to give you ownership of the other version of Yong.
Oh,
So you'll have 2 character sheets now. They're not different. There's no difference between the 2
One's just
character
got a
sheets.
one's got a different token.
Yeah, the only difference is one has a different token. So I will replace Yong's token now with the token that you were born to play.
Big
And we
Yong
now
and
have
Little Yong.
Big Yong.
Big Young's
Big Young.
Big Young baby. Big Young.
Big Yong, what the chuff would you like to do, my friend?
I
These
would
guys
like
have
to-
disrespected you.
I would like to breathe some of hell's wrath upon these. I'm going to open up with great vengeance and furious anger. Those who have tried to disrespect my brothers, and they shall know that my name is Yong the Dragon, as I lay thy vengeance upon them.
in furious flame.
Now, Yong, you have a choice here. You can either do this as a stream or as a cone template.
Cone template, please.
Now, let us see. So you can get the cone template from the measurement tools on the left-hand side. You should be able to pick it up and drag it onto your character. So you may need to move before you can use the cone template and hit people. However, you have the ability to fly at a pace of 12. So you could now just fly up the canyon and then breathe fire down a line of them with your cone of stuff.
Right. Let me just, how do I get rid of that icon there? No, not that.
If you want to click on it and click delete on your keyboard, that's all.
Yeah, you just click on it and hit delete on the keyboard,
Okay.
and that will delete them all. So the way this works is you could either do it as a stream, which is like a targeted one-off attack. You spit some fire. If you do it as the cone, a cone template can be evaded. So what happens is they roll an athletics check, and if they're successful, they dodge fully out of the way. However, dragon fire is so intense that if they succeed on the athletics roll, they don't avoid the damage. They just reduce it by 1 die. So doing a cone is still worth
and
doing.
a cone will take more targets, won't it?
You could, with the right positioning, take out 3+ dudes here easily.
Right. So there's my, if I place my cone there, how do I kind of move it?
Well, it comes from you, right?
It comes from you, so you need to move you first.
You need to move first.
You can move up to 12. And I'm going to say, because you're flying, that it's not quite so challenging for you to move up onto the cliff edge with
What's
that.
the
12.
range of it? Is it just 9 inches or?
Well, it's whatever it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's 9.
Can I change the direction of it?
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Do you not grab with the little circle at one end and drag it?
A 9-inch cone of flame suddenly sounds a lot more impotent than the original I was imagining you were going to do.
Yeah, this is the downside. They're like, oh, the range is 12 inches, and you're like, really? It's 12 inches on the tabletop. 9 inches is 18 meters.
It starts from wherever you're sitting, wherever you are, Young.
Yeah.
So do you want to move so you're at a better angle so you can hit 2 groups?
Ah, hang on. There we go. Right. So yeah, okay. So let's get these guys over here.
What's going on here?
So if I move over to there.
Okay, if you moved up here, Mike, which you can do, you could probably catch all 4 of these guys in it.
What kind of
You could
down
just
here?
Yeah, just fly up to the canyon here, and then flame template them in this direction.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So like a kind of flat starts to kind of lift up from the like all sort of clouds of dust kind of get thrown up into the canyon and just kind of like rise up over the sort of over to the sort of bottom of the screen there, and then just turn my head and just like woof, and let's open up some fiery vengeance. There. That's about right, isn't it?
Let's have a look. Sorry, I've got 2 windows open, which blocks my entire laptop screen. Yep, you're going to hit all 4 of them with that. So what I need you to do, please, Mike, is make me an athletics roll. And raises here matter, because if you get raises, you're going to do more damage.
Right.
So might be worth, if you've got them, spending a penny if you don't quite get there. So
now, bear with me,
athletics
lads.
skill.
I've never
No
done
worries.
this before.
No, that's fine. Dude, you don't have to apologize to me. I've been slowing this right down with my learning of rifts. Oh, that's 1 exploding die.
Okay.
So that's an 8. So that is a hit with a raise. So that is going to do 5d6 mega damage, which will also catch people on fire. Now, they can evade this, so they can try an evasion roll, which will reduce the damage die, so it would take it back down to 4d6. Or if they get a raise, they could take it down
You
to
might evade straight off the edge of the cliff.
3d6.
Wow.
Let's find out.
On fire as they dive off the edge of the cliff.
The way evasion works is... God, my computer is slow. Wake up. Here we go. So some attacks are so slow and require the user to telegraph. So you'll sort of describe it to me, Yong. Like, obviously you flap up here, but before you breathe fire, how does it look?
It looks fucking scary as fuck, is how it looks. So it's like great big black wings. There's kind of this smell of sulfurous gases. Sorry about that. Something I ate earlier. and then just kind of like turn my kind of long kind of serpentine head to the left, because I'm thinking like get them all in this one flame. And then it's just like there's that moment where the camera is looking down into the dragon's throat, and there's like in the distance there's like flame building, and it just goes whoosh, and it's like a big kind of cone of flame, and they're all like screaming.
And as you do that, there's a few things going to happen. So they're going to try and make evasion rolls. What I'm going to say is you're not going to sort of stay still. They're going to try and dive out. So they each make an agility roll at -2 to try and avoid taking damage. So we'll go with, and then there's something else we need to resolve in a minute. So we'll start with this guy here, the very first bandit closest to you. He is going to do an evasion, so an athletics roll. No, sorry, an agility roll at -2. Okay, first guy's just going to get hit as normal. Second guy.
First guy's like, oh my God, the dragon's right next to me.
Well, the thing is, the first guy's option was to jump off the cliff. I have to move them out from under the template. So it was either get hit or die. The next guy is a possible crit failure. He does crit fail. So the second guy, Mike, the first guy is can't decide which way to go and just fails to move at all. The second guy is fixated on you. And as you breathe in, ready to unleash this blast of flame, you hear him soil himself. He's just staring straight at you, and he shits his pants.
I want to imagine the flames, like as both of them are just kind of staring wide-eyed, and then there's like woof, immolates them.
And the flame is building in your mouth. Oh God, the next guy is also a possible crit fail, and also crit fails. So the guys further back, one of them tugs on his mate's shoulder and is like, shit, and the two of them are just fixated on you. His legs have gone to jelly. He can't move. And the final guy gets an exploding die. So the final guy does get to evade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the final bloke Right, I tell you what, we're going to roll damage. So the way this works for area attacks is, I believe that you roll damage individually for each of them hit by the area attack, but I will check it rather than rolling once and applying it to everybody. Or that might be multiple shots. Here we go. Yeah, if the effect causes damage, roll for each victim separately. So what you're going to do, you got a raise, didn't you? So you're going to roll 5d6. So if you click on the damage of your fire thing at the bottom, it should say roll raise, or it should say 5d6. One of those two options will be on there.
It says on the chat.
On your quick access, when you click on flame breath, it says 4d6. So if you click if you click on the 4d6, it should then at the bottom in the middle button should be roll raise.
Roll raise.
Yeah. So it'll roll 5d6, and you're going to do that for each guy. Now, let me just check what it's going to take to actually get rid of these bandits. You're going to need to hit, just in my own head, the following level of damage. Oh, come on. This computer is so slow. It's ridiculous.
I've been thinking about this scene all week.
Me too, mate. Me too. Okay. I know what you need to hit. So you've hit the first guy. The second guy is busy crapping himself. Roll me 4d6 with a raise for him. Okay. Third guy.
4d6 with a raise.
All of them are 4d6 with a raise. You've got a raise on the hit, so they all come in at 5d6 mega damage. Okay, and then the final guy, please. Oh my god, the final guy.
Exploding.
33 damage. So, Mike, the first two guys nearest to you, they're dead. And the guy furthest away from you, he's dead. The third bloke in the middle here, he was the one that basically was frozen to the spot about to soil himself. The one closest to you actually shat himself. Tell me how these three die, and tell me what the guy is looking like who's still standing after his mates just get blasted.
The three of them who get like caught full face, full flame on, they're just like immolated. They just become like, they're just instantly on fire, and they're like, ah! I mean, it's pretty fucking horrific, to be fair. It's pretty like gruesome.
Pretty brutal.
It's pretty gruesome, yeah. And they're just instantly on fire, and they are like 1,000 degrees, something
got
ridiculous, and they just kind of fall to their knees, really, and there's not much more than kind of
knees
charred.
up.
No knees left. The other guy, he is on fire, and he sort of like dives, or he falls to the ground, and like he just kind of starts rolling and trying to pad himself down. He's still alive though, isn't he?
He's still alive. He's just shaken, very shaken.
Right. Yeah, so
However,
he's falling down, and he's padding. He's trying to sort of pad himself off. Badly burnt. It's going to need some significant plastic surgery.
So a few things are going to happen here. You've got that guy who is shaken, which is this. Now, you also, as a dragon, Young, you cause fear, which I believe is everybody who sees you.
Yeah, my edges and hindrances. Fear. It says some creature, particularly frightening monsters, cause fear checks in all who see them. Some truly terrifying monsters may inflict penalties on fear checks.
Yeah.
So my fear is just basic fear. It's just basic fear. He has to make a fear check.
Fear -1. 2. Right. I'm going to double check that. I thought you might be a -2, but we're going to check. So
you make your allies take a fear check.
Well, what I'm going to say as GM is Harnoop, you won't because you knew. Sister Swan won't because you knew Young's secret. all the other NPCs and Laugh Track had no idea that the chubby little Asian boy. And I'd be interested to know. I mean, Laugh Track is currently
kind of engrossed, isn't he?
Well, no, Laugh Track is currently losing it, which means Laugh Track is immune to fear. So in a minute, we're going to come to that, because I want to know, Laugh Track, you're utterly immune to fear, so this doesn't affect you anyway, because you're currently losing it. So A, you are crazy as fuck and going nuts. You're berserk, basically. But I want to know, when you spin round, you see the bandit leader's eyes like just go straight over your shoulder, and there's this enormous blast of noise as this flame wall hits and incinerates 3 guys. And as you look over your shoulder, you realize that Yong has transformed into a dragon and flown up onto the cliff and burned everybody. Doesn't terrify you. Instead, I would love to know, in fact, you can tell me this while I'm reading up on fear, that how does Laugh Track feel about that, knowing that only 2 days ago you had him on his back with your foot on his neck as you played his computer game?
So, Laugh Track, I mean, he's pretty focused, but of course he can hear what's going on, and with his supernatural speed, he's kind of like, he does get a kind of a glance around, and for once in his in all the time he can remember, bearing in mind his brain is pretty addled on anything prior to his implants, he actually stops laughing during combat.
Ha ha!
Wow.
Oh,
He's like, "Oh shit," and then he's back to it again.
Yeah,
Slicing and dicing.
Slice and dice.
Amazing. So this is perfect, because the cat is out of the bag on that, which means that Mike, we no longer have to keep tracking how long you've been in human form before you need to
human form for a number of hours.
So
like,
beauty sleep.
yeah, which is why
off.
he keeps sneaking off to meditate when you guys were sort of having your barbecue in the evening and stuff. Right, 6. Here we go.
See the fear rolls.
So fear roll, as I thought, fear roll's a spirit check. When they first spot a creature that causes fear, and you are a terror-causing creature rather than a nausea-causing creature, which means that terror.
These use the fear macro,
Yeah.
which rolls on the fear table.
So what we'll do is,
Oh,
there's a fear macro. Okay, so
you get a heart attack if you roll a 22.
Yeah, well, you can do, which is amazing, because there is a heart attack icon that I saw on here, and I was like, I wonder if that's where it's from, and I bet it is. So, right,
good.
Spirit
good,
rolls. So this is the guy who you just blasted, but isn't yet dead. He's just shaken. Is he also fear? Oh my God, he is. And I'm not going to spend a penny on him, because I think narratively it's only right that he is absolutely terrified. So he immediately becomes panicked, which means
I'm glad you're running this system for the first time, Rob, and not me.
I think once we've got the hang of it, it's quite simple, but it's so new and it's so different. So the character immediately, so even though it's not his turn, moves his full pace plus his running die away from the danger and is shaken. So he is going to roll his run die. And he's going to move 8 straight directly away from you. So
Legging it, isn't he?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 3 guys charred to stumps. This guy goes running out, and then all the other bandits turn around to be like, what the hell was that? And we'll see if we get a cascade effect. Next guy passes, which is very good. Other guy fails. The problem is, because these guys are extras, most of them are now just running. This guy runs 11.
So when you fail a fear test, you just leg it, right? You just book it out there as fast as you can.
Right.
out of
Well,
dodge.
hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Because
8,
well,
9, 10, 11. So extras immediately become panicked and they run off. Wild cards roll on the fear table. They may have a heart attack and die. They may do all sorts of interesting
yeah,
things.
that's
Extras just
Yeah.
run away.
Yeah, otherwise it's too much to track
Yeah,
for,
that's it.
for that
makes
fear
sense.
table for the GM. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And it's not really worth it because, you know, if you've got 12 mooks like we've got here, who cares if 2 of them have a heart attack and 2 of them don't? It's just, do they stand their ground or not? So the remaining guy up here on the cliff stays the same. The guy next to him is dead because he got shot by Kareen. So you've got one guy, you've got 2 guys standing their ground, 2 guys running, 4 guys in total dead on the cliff top already. And then down here, we've got 3 bandits and the bandit leader. Now, if these guys run, they're in melee combat with Dexter and Laugh Track, which means they could get attacks of opportunity. You only get one of them, one reaction, but it'll be interesting. First one is going to leg it. So I'm going to say Laugh Track, if you will make me a melee attack with Dexter Teasel, please. This is a standard attack with none of his sort of bonuses or penalties or anything. So it's just a fighting roll.
All right.
No pluses or minuses.
So am I just clicking his which one? Sorry, Vibro's sword or
Yeah, but
fighting ability? I'm with you.
Yeah, that's it. And then click his fighting ability.
Yeah.
The guy's got a parry of 5. So I'm going to say that.
It's not a very
Oh
good
no,
score.
of course Dexter doesn't have any bennies. So the guy manages to slip out from Dexter and just set off running. So he's going to go a total of 11 as well, which is ridiculous.
I think Dexter and Laugh Track are pretty fast, so they'll
Yeah,
have a long
they're gonna
way.
waste them, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not. Thing is, they're not trying to run away from Dexter and Laugh Track. They've just seen
No,
a dragon.
Kill them all.
Next guy is going to try and stand his ground. Wow, I hadn't really realized how wide-ranging the effects of a single monstrous creature are in terms of your fear roll could have just broken half, well, has just broken half this group. The remaining guys you didn't kill. Right, this next bandit's going to run off. Laugh Track, if you want, you can take a swipe at him.
Yes, I do want. After the damage he caused me, I feel like.
Yeah, well, this is not the leader, but it's the bandit next to him. But this is a guy that you could probably just chop down and then still have a cracking shot of the leader, which would be great.
Can I get him with my? Is it swapped with my Vibro longsword, or is it a fighting again?
No. Well,
Okay.
yeah, it's your Vibro longsword because that's what you've got in your hand. So you can just cut him down with it as he tries to run.
He rolls.
Right, he's got parry of 5.
Enough?
That hits. That hits. So roll me Vibro longsword damage, please. Laugh Track. Also, I think we already upped it, but your strength is it? Oh, is it? I need to double check which dice go up when you lose it. Because you're currently losing it.
I'm losing
means,
it.
Also, when you're losing it, all your attacks are wild attacks. So you get +2 to. So all your attack. I read up on this afternoon. While you're losing it, all your attacks are wild swings, which are +2 to hit and +2 to damage. But when you make a wild attack, you're vulnerable until your next turn, meaning people are +2 to hit you back. But you're at +2 to dodge him as well, so it evens out. But
okay,
what that means is because you can do losing it, which doubles your losing it. Yeah, strength and agility go up 2 dice, and your strength should now be a D12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put your strength to. I'm going to change your strength to a D12 manually.
Okay.
We need to remember to put it back afterwards when you stop.
Yeah, I'll remind you. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Yeah, so your strength is normally a D4, but with a ton of bonuses because of who you are. We'll put it to a D8. It'll go back to a D4 at the end, but you're now a D12. So now roll your damage, and you'll get your Vibro Longsword damage plus a D12. This is going to be horrific.
Roll and roll and roll and roll and sevens. Just sevens.
No.
Just.
Not. It shouldn't be. You should be rolling your strength die plus the damage die of the weapon. So there should be a D12 plus the D10.
Yeah, so there's a D12 and a D10, so 2 sevens.
Oh, sorry. It's because Zoom is covering like half my screen. I didn't see the other die. Right. 14 damage plus 2 because you're swinging wild, which will be 16 damage. Talk me through it, Mickey. He's dead.
Okay, so laugh track, he looks around and he sees this dragon. He's like, oh, fuck. And then he sees the sort of the leader sort of is still kind of going at him. And as he sort of brings his sword back around, he basically carves through the guy standing to the right of the leader. And that guy sort of slides in half and he's back to fighting the leader again.
So this guy turns to run and just gets sliced in half by laugh track. And then the only question
an accident.
is whether...
I didn't mean to do it. Sorry, dude. It was a real accident.
To be fair, that's how losing it is for there's a chance that you could kill your allies in combat if you miss, because you tend to be a bit crazy. Yikes. The bandit leader has lost his nerve even with his D10. So he's going.
Does that mean I get a little attack of opportunity on him too?
You get you only get one per round. But it does mean that he is now legging it, and therefore actually no. I'm
pretty fast.
No, he's panicked, which means he's shaken. You'll be able to catch him, but he may not be able to do anything to defend himself.
That's my favorite sort. Okay.
So he's off as well.
His hands over his head going, don't hit me.
Now, the guys on the cliff face facing Harnu, I'm going to roll for them as well. They're shaken, but they may also become panicked.
I say to them, you're in trouble now, guys.
Look over there, a dragon.
It's a fucking dragon.
It's a dragon, man.
It's a fucking dragon.
It's a fucking dragon.
Right. The last guy stays. He would rather fight laugh track than risk a dragon. And then these three guys, they're shaken, but they're not unconscious. So they do see the dragon. They do hear the noise. And, oh, come on, computer, you could do it. This wouldn't be as slow if I was doing this at home either, because I'm waiting 2 minutes. Right, first one panics. Now, Harnu, you will get an attack of opportunity on this first bandit because he's going to run right past you. You can only punch him because you don't have a melee weapon in your hand, but you can try and...
I've got horns.
Don't horns require you to have done a run-up?
I've got no idea, mate. I never thought I'd use them, to be honest.
What, the horn?
You could lower your head and stab him.
Well, it's on the front of my quick access, so I just keep seeing it.
Yeah, it is. Horns. So you've got horns, which I think are...
natural weapons. For more information, it's just creatures' natural weapons such as fangs. It's like having claws or fangs. It's just a thing I can attack.
Claws, bite, and horns all have different rules.
Oh yes,
of course they
add 4 damage if when I run. You're quite right. I need to run.
Yeah. I
do not want to sully my beautiful hands by attacking these guys.
I would say with your horns, does it say how far you have? You have to have run.
Yeah,
he
I'm
is
not going to
running.
touch him.
Okay, I was going to say he is running.
I've got like a flaming melee weapon, but I haven't.
Yes, you do, but you haven't drawn
activated it. I haven't drawn
it. And it's not your round, so you can't draw it, but you could hit him with what you've got. Okay,
I would be like, yeah, you run, scum. Don't mess with us.
The scum is running. Scum on the run.
Scum on the run.
Scum on the run.
I will not sing Wings.
10.
Never.
Wings, man. It's only the band the Beatles could have been. Yeah, we don't really care if he crit failed because he did crit fail. He's running as well. So we're running a 10, running a 9. And the final guy, Harnoop may have also, I'm not going to say caught a break here because I think Harnoop had these guys, but only one of the guys in front of you, Harnoop, is still standing. So the first guy got an 11. The second guy got a 10 to there, not there, the here. And the last guy is still standing, but he's shaken. So that was a pretty dramatic round, Young. Well done.
Wasn't it?
Well done, Young.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Better than playing Dig Dug, isn't it?
He forced me to reveal my true form.
Next time we all kicks off, we just let Young do his thing before we start.
I don't. You know what? I just want to be a human.
Well, you're not much
you
bloody
identify
use.
as a chubby Asian
Yeah,
guy.
I don't identify as a dragon.
As a chubby Asian guy. Yes.
Oh, don't get
Born
me
in the
started.
wrong body.
I identify
Yeah,
as a mango.
like Pinocchio wants to be a real boy.
Mhm.
That's me. I know I'm a dragon, but I just want to be a real boy.
All right.
I'm glad I play Dig Dug.
Right, 2 things I need to do. One of which is I need to put new Young, Dragon Young, on the combat tracker because you vanished off the combat tracker.
Oh.
However, well, yeah, because I switched characters, didn't I? You went to the new token, right. So you disappeared. But it's now a new round. And what happens in Savage Worlds, we don't shuffle the deck, but we're all going to draw a new card for the round. So I'm going to see if this works. You can't do it yet. Nobody click anything yet. So I need to see how this works.
About to click it. It's really difficult.
Initiative changes each round.
Yeah, you can't click it, Young, because this is the same initiative round. If you click it, it will draw an extra card, and certain cards will reset the deck. So don't do that. But yeah, what it means is you don't, unlike D&D, your initiative isn't set in stone. It's not like you now have to wait for all the bandits. You might be quicker the next 6 seconds.
That makes sense.
So we go to round 2, round 1. Do you want to advance to the next round? Yes, at which point it automatically resets everything and draws them for you. Now, laugh track, you drew a... Have you got an indicator on your screen, Mickey, that says anything about the card you drew?
I'll just see 3 cards.
I only see the 3. I mean, I was behind. I was ahead of the leader before.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you were before because it's a new round. But you have the edge. I think it's called Quick.
Oh, sorry, I need to click it. Sorry, I do apologise.
It's because you have the edge Quick, which means if you draw less than a 5, you get the choice to draw again until you get a 5 or more. And it requires you to click it. But now you've done it. This is brilliant because now it's automatically generated for everybody without us having to worry about it when we went on to the next round.
That reminded me of Deep Space Nine.
Other than
you see 3 cards, no 4.
The bandits, because I only put 1 bandit on the tracker and it happens to be one of the ones who's dead. Right, let me pick another one who's not dead and add him to the tracker instead. That's slightly annoying. Right, so he can draw initiative. Now, there's a couple of things here. Sister Swan, you drew a Joker.
A Joker.
That is very, very special.
It says Jack on my screen.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it says, Jack. Jack of clubs.
Oh, no, so it's a Jack. It's a Jack of clubs. Sorry.
Jack to a king.
I've just got a J on my screen. I got all excited. If you draw a Joker, you can go literally any time you want, including interrupting the middle of somebody else's turn, and you get a +2 on everything you do that turn. And I believe every PC gets a Benny as well. So drawing a Joker is amazing, but it also works for me. However, bandits are going first. I am going to say we haven't got many of them left. The ones that were panicking are not going to attempt to unpanic. So the one back here and this one, make it to about here. We'll take average run rolls for them. And they pull out from under the brush at the top of here, which is obviously how they got here. They drag out what look like sort of small dirt bikes, sort of rough bandit motorcycles. One of them might have a little hover car. There's some hover bikes are pretty common in Rift's Earth, but they pull out 1-man bike style transports and hop on them. And that is their action for the turn. They're not going to try and make piloting rolls and go. In fact, let's do it. At -2, they'll try and drive away. They don't have any skill in driving.
We know all about that. It's like opening doors.
Fuck it. They're on bikes. They're not going anywhere. Same is true of these two up here, including the bandit.
Brilliant at opening doors.
Yeah, it just takes an hour to decide how you're going to do it.
The
Bandit
GM has to
leader
open the doors.
heads off here. Bandit leader he's got piloting. Has he got driving?
It's not his turn.
Oh no, sorry. Bandit leader isn't one of the bandits. You're absolutely right. It's not his turn. He was here.
Got a bandit with the ace of clubs.
Right, so the only bandits that matter, we've got the two on the cliff top here. They are both going to wildly shoot into Yong. They're panicking. They want to drive the dragon off. Let me just
drive him.
Fly, you fools!
Drive him,
you fools!
They both unleash 3 full auto bursts into Yong. So that is 9 shots each in the whole round. I'm not going to roll any of them. Their weapons literally can't hurt you, Yong. You have mega damage skin. But they're just like emptying their AKs completely on full auto all the turn. There's bullets
there are
everywhere.
Several courses of action I could suggest rather than firing at a dragon with an AK.
Well, you should have told them earlier because that's what they did.
No, I just mean the bandits. It's like
I'm only a baby dragon.
Yeah, he's only like 20 meters long.
Yeah, 20 meters long.
Right. My computer is completely locked up. Right, this bandit on the cliff top by Harnoop is going to try and unshake himself with a spirit check.
Oh.
He fails. So he is shaken. All he can do is move. So he is going to choose to run. That's all he's allowed to do. Harnoop has shaken him. He's bleeding from where the glass of Harnoop's blast spell has blown chunks in him. And now a dragon has appeared.
Hey, mate.
Oh, he runs fast.
Crits on his run, essentially, and he's just out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right. So these bandits are just off. So you basically routed the bandits.
There's one
and
next.
The bandit leader. There's one next to Laugh Track. Is the only one left standing who can do anything. He was holding a gun, which he drops in the dirt as he whips out a little vibro blade. So what's he got? I think he's got a vibro short sword, but we'll find out.
Pretty sure
Harnoop's quite disappointed.
Got something.
He thought he was the only person who could grow really big, but now Yong's got really big. That was one of my things.
You know what, though? We could do it together, though.
Oh, we could do, yeah.
With enough power points, though, you could grow bigger than Yong. Yong can't get any bigger than he is. That's just the size.
Can I not make Yong even bigger? There is a rule about that. There is a limit.
You can, yeah. He may already be pretty close to that limit, but we could find out.
I just need to grow older.
I don't spell you.
Oh,
I want Laugh Track to be able to throw some sort of insult up at Harnoop's, like, you might be able to get big, but he's way scarier.
I know.
Right. So this bandit is wide-eyed in front of you, Laugh Track.
Wow.
And there's a dragon, there's people running away. A guy that was just turning to run got sliced in half by you. His boss has legged it. He just starts cackling manically, not as manically and as wildly as you are, but he's obviously on the edge. And he's going to take a risk. He's going to step back. So he's going to risk the attack of opportunity from you. He is going to step back and move 1, 2 to there. That's all he's going to do. And as he does, he's fumbling on his belt. Now, Laugh Track, make me your attack of opportunity, please.
I don't know if I want to do the attack of opportunity.
Well, you don't have
if
to.
I want to laugh and just sort of like walk up to him with the sword, sort of like just dragging through the sand behind me. He's like, "Where are you going, fool?"
Yeah, okay. So he dashes back. It's a completely undignified escape, and you see your opportunity as he leaves. You could have just sort of cleaved him in half, but you're enjoying this too much. And he stumbles back as he's reaching to his belt, and he pulls out a big stick of dynamite. Ooh. And he strikes a match down one side of from the side of his belt, and he's laughing, and he just says, "Suck on this!" And he lights the stick of dynamite and he throws it between you and Dexter.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm walking towards him, so it's just
it's not your turn. It's not your turn yet.
Damn it!
You had the attack opportunity option, but you can't go after him.
Non-simultaneous gameplay.
It's Bandit turn first, so you've let him go, knowing that you can just hunt him down. And it will be hilarious. And he's whipped out a stick of dynamite, and you instantly recognize this is probably the kind of thing that they've been using to disable the vehicles that you saw further back down the canyon. They probably just slapped these with a bit of gum on the side or something and
blew the tracks out and stuff.
Blown the tracks off. Yeah. So
so I can't do anything. Like I can't do anything heroic. Like pull that guy. There's still the guy between us. I can't just pull him down onto the dynamite or anything.
No,
we've just got to take the blast now.
Yeah. This is
he sort of throws it and it explodes as it lands, doesn't it? It's going to be pretty instantaneous, is it?
Well, the thing is, we went through this, and you had the attack of opportunity. You were like, no, I'm going to let him walk off, and I'm going to follow him, dragging my sword in the sand, which is great, and you will do that on your initiative. But you weren't necessarily expecting
any
him
legs.
That's it. You weren't expecting him to
I can't find my legs.
Back a few feet and then chuck dynamite.
On your stumps.
They call me Stumpy.
It's a large blast template.
Stumpy track.
Why? There we go. So he's going to try and throw it there.
Ooh, don't like that.
It's a pretty good. It's a pretty good shot, but we have no idea what his skill is here, right? This could scatter. It could go off in his hand. I mean, it's only a stick of dynamite with a fuse on it, and he's just lit it with a match. It's very primitive, not like it's got a high-tech timer or a trigger on it. So he is going to make it says a shooting roll. I thought dynamite was like an athletics. He's basically thrown a grenade. I'm going to say it's an athletics roll, not a shooting roll, which is not to his advantage. He is not good at athletics. Oh dear. It's a possible crit failure.
Maybe he goes off in his hand.
He did not confirm the crit
Let's
fail.
just say that's happened to all of us.
Well, we've all had a crit fail at one time or another. Right. So...
Well, you call it fail. Just a speedy success.
Job done. It's just a success with a raise. So I got it done in half the time.
It's a success with consequence.
Success in a beer.
Clean up on aisle 3. Oh, right. There are rules for scatter, which we don't necessarily need, but I want them for comedy effect because I want to see if it's going to scatter on him. I reckon it could do. I think he's not crit failed, but he's rolled very badly.
It's the age old. What was that game when you used to be able to throw a grenade and it would actually, you'd throw it and it would just go in front of you? Oh, what was that game? It might have been like Necromunda or something. Or
yeah, I think you probably could do it in Necromunda.
It was Necromunda, wasn't it? And you could,
if you scattered it, you could actually
scatter.
In front of you, it bounced back.
Yeah, literally, you'd roll that like it's like you've just gone. Yeah. They're like, who fucking does that? It's like,
Oh, no,
come
I have
on, it's a
fumbled it.
fucking grenade.
Pulling the
Like, you
pin
do
out has caused me to drop it.
yeah. Yeah, you've thrown the
Mm.
pin. Like, it's like, oh shit, wrong way round again.
God damn
I'm
it.
sure there was a game where you throw a grenade, and like if you fail, you make an attack roll, and if you fail the attack roll, the grenade goes off in a random direction.
Oh, yeah, that happens in a lot of games.
Yeah. I think that could be Necromunda
Grenades in
as
real
well.
life are far more predictable than they are in games.
I know. That's what I always had difficulty with.
It's like when you play Blood Bowl, the ball sort of bounces like 8 different squares,
Yeah.
and everyone's trying to grab it, and it just goes anyway.
And then they fail and it keeps going.
Yeah, keeps going.
Right.
Yeah.
So he pulls out a match and he sort of whips it up and slaps it to the fuse, and he just goes, ha 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 ha.
Boom.
And then as he reaches back to throw, he looks up and he realizes he brought the match up right at the base of the fuse, not at the top end of it. And it's already burning in his hand. And it goes off, as we have all said it can do. It goes off in his hand.
Oh my.
Now, this is bad for a couple of reasons. One, he's about to get
We're still in the area of effect.
But yeah, two, and why the fuck won't it let me move?
It's going to blow more than his
There we
fingers
go.
off. It's not bonfire night.
So it's going to hit him.
I did this
it's
with
going
the French
it's
banger
going to
once. I
miss.
thought,
It's going to miss you, laugh
Well, that's
tracks.
disappointing.
Just, isn't it? I was really hoping that at least his initial intention was still going to be good, but no. So it's going to do, I think it's 3d6 mega damage, but we'll find out if the game.
Oh, it's mega damage as well. Oh my god, I'm so glad that didn't land between Dex
Dude,
and I.
Dynamite. Yeah, dynamite is mega damage. It's 3d8 per stick. He's only throwing one stick of dynamite, but he's going to roll it. He doesn't roll particularly well, actually. Man, this is painful. Okay, so he sees at the last minute that this thing's lit, and he just flips it up in the air, and it goes. There's a big explosion of dynamite, and I'm going to say it knocks him prone. So he is shaken, and he is prone. Oh wow! It's applied the shaken to him immediately because he's applied it to everyone in the blast radius. That's interesting. I'm going to make him prone as well, just because I think that's appropriate.
He would get knocked on his ass.
Yeah, absolutely. Given that it's not done him any
blown his hand
wounds.
Off. He gets the embarrassed condition.
If he's lucky,
yes.
Embarrassed condition.
If he's lucky.
So that's all our bandits. They're either fleeing, they're pointlessly shooting at dragons, or they're throwing dynamite on themselves. Next up is Sister Swan.
Sister Sledge. Let's go.
Sister Sledge. There's two bandits still alive and firing into
I
Yon.
still love that she's Swan Vesta. It's so good.
That is still amazing. Rest of the bandits are fleeing. What, if anything, sister, do you want to do? You don't have to do anything.
You said it was these two up here.
Yeah, so there's that one's dead. So this one here, they've got skulls on them if they're dead. This one here is still alive and fighting, and this one here just below it.
Flame bolts, one at each again.
Cool. So you're only at a -2 this time if you're only doing 2 flame bolts.
Yeah.
So each one at a -2. Just the 1 power point, or do you want to step it up to 3 to go for the D8s instead of the D6s?
Yeah, I'm going to step it up with a points D8s because they did have a warning shot and they still ignored it. So
yeah,
they can burn in hell.
Had a warning dragon.
They are probably about to.
Right.
So this will cost you 6 power points total, which it should take off automatically. Don't worry about it. Although it hasn't done last time. So
no, it didn't for me last week. And I tried to do 3 different spells, and I had to do it manually. I
think it does require you to do it manually because so many can have so many different variables.
Options,
yeah, that's fine. So in that case, you're going to do 2 more, which will be another 6 points this time. So I'll take you to 11 power points, Gaz, and you're doing them. So this time you're doing the burster version, the 3D, and that might be at a better hit chance.
So I'm not on a multi-action penalty, am I?
You're on a -2.
-2.
Yeah, you're on the -2 because you're doing two actions.
Oh no.
Okay, so that is going to need a Benny to hit if you want to do that.
Nope, save me Benny then out. I'll do my second shot at the other guy.
Okay.
It says Swan's got fatigue, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
She got it falling off Bunty in the previous
That's right.
session. Ooh, now that is a hit.
Awesome.
Even with the multi-action penalty and the fatigue, that goes off. Roll me. That's not with a raise. So you're just rolling, I think it's 3d8 mega damage. Just.
Thing didn't appear this time. Sorry, guys.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I saw 2 of those dice. They were both
beautiful.
7s. 18 mega damage.
Incinerate.
Dude, talk me through the second guy. He's dead.
Basically, the fiery filaments whip out from the skull, almost like a whip, and they grab the guy by the ankle. They grab the guy by the ankle and just basically incinerate him. Basically, he just flashes into an outline of a skeleton and fire and just goes crump.
It's like that scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles where they're in the car,
that's it.
and it's like it's like a
Amazing. So, guys, you've defeated these bandits. The rest of them are now at quite a range. They've hopped on like bikes, or like one of them's got a little ATV that a few of them pile into, and they kind of disappear off. But you are victorious. I'll let you move yourselves on that map. You can reassemble in the canyon. So obviously, Harnoop and Yong, you're capable of getting down there yourselves. Although Harnoop, it will cost you a power point, I think.
It will. I'll do that.
Well, you can choose to short the power.
I don't know what that
short the power is it be.
So
short
is it how many power points is it to cast teleport?
2.
Right. If you wanted to cast it for 0, you have an option to short the power, which is to cast it for 2 less than it would normally cost, and you roll at a -2. It's -1 for each power point you don't want to spend. You don't have to, but if you chose to try that and you've got quite a good skill in it, then you could get down there for nothing.
I've also got the thing where if I succeed with a raise, everything costs me 1 less power point. So if I succeeded, it would only cost me 1 with a raise. So I'll just try and cast it normally.
Okay.
So I'll sort of walk to the edge, and then I'll try and teleport down.
You could also climb down manually, but you might die.
Yes, I'm much more likely to die. It's also cool if I just clip my fingers.
Yeah, it is. I like the fact that, and the fact we'll see how this cast goes, and then I want you guys to describe something for me.
So, I'm just trying a few things. I'm adding this to my favorites, so it's at the front of that page. If I click teleport, if I click spell casting, and I click -2, did you say?
No, it's not. If you're not shorting the power, it's not -2.
That's right. And I click roll, and see what happens.
Oh, that's a success with a raise.
So that cost me 1. So I teleport down, and I will subtract.
So I'm going to say Harnoop and Yong. Yong, you kind of swoop down to the canyon because I can see you've moved yourself. Harnoop, you disappear and reappear. I'm going to say that Yong, you're going to land at pretty much the same time Harnoop appears next to you. So Sister Swan, immediately next to you, and Laugh Track, as you turn around, the two of you describe to me how this dragon is landing and how this DB is just blinking in out of thin air. Yong, after you.
Well, Laugh Track is just, he's literally just like this giant explosion's just gone up, and he's, sort of hurled his arm up as the stick of dynamite went off. Pretty much an air burst. So there was definitely singed the hairs off of his arm. And as he looks around, he just sees this enormous, the enormous dragon sort of. I mean, they floating down. It's kind of an ungainly sort of.
Clumsy.
Well, yeah, you tell me, Young.
Yeah, not very good at it yet. I'm still just figuring it out.
Is anyone injured?
No, nobody got touched.
Was the bandit leader? Did he just give up? Did he just sort of say, "I'm not fighting"?
No, he legged it.
ran off.
Oh, did he? It was never his turn. So sorry.
No, that's true. That's true. Actually, it's not. So, if anyone would like to do something with the bandit leader, he's still standing here, and he was going after Sister Swan and Yong. I'm going to say at this point, let's treat it narratively. I'm going to say he's broken down in the middle of there. He's just seen his own man blow himself up. He's just sitting.
That'll do it.
Yeah, he's just sitting in the dirt, and I'm gonna say narratively, this guy killed himself with the dynamite because the dynamite went off within feet of him. He's blown into smithereens. His other guys have sort of jumped on like bikes, jet bikes, hover bikes, whatever, and just fucked off into the desert. And he's just collapsed there in his armor, just staring. They thought they were mugging a bunch of random travelers. This is the first time any of them will have seen a dragon.
Yeah.
And probably the first time they've seen a DB that can do the kind of magical things that Harnoop can do. Certainly the first time they'll have seen anyone with Sister Swan's powers or Laugh-Track's ability to carve men casually in half by accident. It's been a really bad misestimation on their part. Laugh-Track, we've got one thing to deal with you. So you were losing it. Losing it either lasts for 5 rounds,
Losing it.
at which point you gain a level of fatigue, or you can try and come out of it early by rolling a spirit check. And that will avoid the fatigue.
I will try and, because again, Laugh-Track's pretty handy with sort of trying to, he's got the edge of it was Sublime Chaos.
Yeah. Now, Sublime Chaos gives you a couple of things to do with this, which is really important because once you've come out of losing it, you spend a period of time getting it together, during which, and you can tell me how it affects you, but the rules describe it as maybe you're racked with guilt, filled with remorse, maybe you're depressed, maybe you're feeling edgy, but your crazy is like cramming in on your
extra
psyche.
Hysterical.
Yeah, and until basically while you're getting it together, and depending on the success of your ability to stop losing it, to get it together, it could last between a few minutes and over a day. It could be a long time, and during that time you'll be at -1 to everything while your crazy sort of takes over. It's the downside of losing it. But if you're successful, then you won't take any of the fatigue penalty. So under your edges, Sublime Chaos gives you... Yeah, while losing it, yes. So while losing it, you're not fatigued by Berserk, so you wouldn't be fatigued anyway, which is that's really good actually. And you can perform actions normally, and the time that you spend getting it together is halved. So if you'll make me a spirit roll, please, Laugh-Track, and we'll see what your normal penalty would be, and then we halve it for you because, as you say, you are so in tune with the madness of your own brain.
Not good.
But not that in tune, eh?
What did you get?
3.
3. So you can choose to spend a Benny if you've got one.
I've got one last Benny.
So you can either spend your last Benny or you can just let it ride as a 3 and we'll see what happens.
I might just keep that in case we need it for something or other. I'm just going to ride it. Say
narratively, I think this is going to be pretty cool actually, because this is the point of the crazy. It's like it's ups and downs. So that's a fail. So with a failure, roll me a d6, please. Just any old d6.
Choose a d6.
Yeah, no, whichever one you like. See, 2, that's all right. So it's going to take you 2 hours to get it together, but because of Sublime Chaos, 1 hour. So for the next hour, you're at -1 to any trait rolls. I don't think it applies to damage. I think it just applies to actions and traits and skills.
Out, isn't it? Bit strung out.
Well, Laugh-Track, you tell me, like you let the crazy take over in combat. This is maybe where you thrive, you can tell me. But as you rein that back in and you realize that you're sort of here with your merc buddies and you've taken down the bad guys, what's sort of gnawing at the edges of Laugh Track's mind that's making him just that bit sort of edgy and off performance?
So Laugh Track sees, he sees this sort of crazy dragon land behind him, and he can see that all the bad guys have run off, and he gets this moment. He's like, and he looks back at the front again. He can see no one's looking at him, and he just gets this moment where he's like, "Fuck!" And he can see the sort of the carve up the front of his armor from where the vibro knife nearly took him out. You can see the body of the guy that's literally just blown himself up a few feet away from him with the dynamite. He's like, and the whole weight of how close he was to just getting taken out suddenly kicks in, and he sort of, his hands start shaking, and he sort of grabs his hand because he can see everyone else looking around, and he's like, "Put it together, get it together, get it together." But he's like, trying to keep himself focused.
It's like Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, a bit like that, exactly that. But like, the whole weight of how close he just came to just getting carved up by that bandit leader suddenly kicks in, and he's just trying to avoid the rest of the gang seeing his moment. The laughter stops and his face has dropped a bit.
I like that. I like that. There's a bit of a kind of like a realization there, isn't there? A bit of depth there. Yeah, it's nice. He's not just kind of crazy. He's crazy, and then there's a kind of a bit of a realization of the crazy.
It's pretty cool to play this guy.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, a couple of things. What do you guys want to do with the bandit leader, who's the only one left and is now just sitting in the dirt? He's unharmed, but
I was trying to remember what our job was, to hunt down this crew.
Yeah, and if we can get any of the goods back for the guy,
but our job was to stop this group from continuing their operations, which I guess we've done.
I would like to say, as a land, I want to create a bit of a scene here. As a land, because I was thinking about it, and I don't want it to not happen because now I'm excited about it. It's really nothing. As a land, I want to got my sort of back haunches up and my sort of wings folded in, and my head goes down onto the sand of the desert, of the kind of canyon floor, right next to Sister Swan. And it's kind of like I'm so close to her, and I kind of just look up at her with like puppy eyes.
She scratches in between his nostrils.
Yeah, I'm like nuzzling in, and I'm just going to make like a little. Yeah, I'm going to make a little.
Getting weird now.
He's a dragon. He's a young dragon.
She's a draconophile. Draconophiliac.
Yes. A dragon whisperer.
She's a dragon whisperer.
Mike, you'll appreciate this.
I want to know that I've done the right thing. Basically, I want to know that I've done the right thing, because that was didn't really know, a bit instinctive, but
first kills, Mike. Tell me how Young is feeling, because you are. Do you want to reveal roughly how old you are to the assembled throng?
Yeah, I'm a few weeks old.
Yeah, you're about 3.5, 4 weeks old, not quite a month. Since you hatched from your egg, and so the world is very, very.
Sister Swan sitting on it like a big booty chicken.
I mean, you guys.
I don't need to know.
No. You do. So now the secret is out. I think everyone can watch the prequel episode, because I think the prequel episode we can make that that playlist, Mike, public to everyone in the group, because that first episode I think was really good, and you'll find out the relationship between Sister Swan and Young, because it's quite special, and
it's a symbiotic. It's almost a bit symbiotic, isn't it? Relationship.
They've known each other psionically.
Yes.
They're both quite young, and they've known each other psionically for a long time. But yeah, Young, this is the first time, you've taken Sister Swan's lead. You've been very wide-eyed. You've been exploring the world for a few weeks, and now you've just toasted 3 guys and really the first time that you've stretched your wings and used your dragon form. You've been trying to stay in human form for as long as you can, so as not to be discovered.
Very tiring staying in human form.
It's a very
I
difficult
feel-
form to be in. I can attest to it.
I feel very clumsy in it. It's not my
Small
natural.
and
I'm
cramped.
quite graceful as a dragon, relatively speaking, as a baby
Like when you
dragon.
put on a size 4 sock and you've got a size 8 foot.
It's exactly like that. It's like wearing a pair of high heels
Tight,
that are two
tight
two
socks.
sizes too quick, and we've all done that. Let's
Yeah.
face
Of
it.
course we have.
We've
I'm
all
doing
put
it
on a
now.
pair of high heels that are two sizes too small. So it's kind of a bit like that. Like not super graceful, not like the big dragons of ancient times.
Not
but,
yet.
Not yet. It won't be. Yeah. So I do feel a bit unsure about it. I'm a bit like looking at Sister Swan, like like my eyes are sort of doing that, and then looking at her and then
Mind
looking
link.
away. There's a bit
Reassuring.
of a kind of
You did
So
all
there's-
the right things considering the circumstances we were under, young, and you did show restraint.
So there's a couple of things here. One of which is, and we haven't done this in the last few episodes because they've been sort of slightly narrative episodes forming the framework of what we're doing while we learn the system.
Yeah.
After this session, everybody is going to get an advance.
Oh.
Now I'm not going to get you to spend them now. We're at 10 past 10 already, and I want you to think about them. These are the things you can do with an advance. This is essentially how you level up. And once you've taken 4 advances, you will go from novice rank to seasoned rank. That's sort of your level.
Right.
Level 1.
Yeah,
And your ranks are novice to seasoned to veteran to heroic to legendary.
Oh, good.
But you're going to start out, at the moment, you are no advanced novice characters. So on the front of your character sheets, you'll see that. There's a couple right at the very top. It says what your rank is.
novice.
Yeah. And it also says number of advances.
There's a legend on me, but that's just because I know that I'm really.
That's because you are a legend, yeah. So as you up your advances, you're going to gain more rank. Now, don't put 1 in the advances box yet. That's after you've spent them. But you can spend them on the following things. What I'll do is on WhatsApp, I'll send out the Savage Worlds rulebook again for those that want it, that don't already have it. And it's on page 54 of that rulebook. You can do the following things. You could gain a new edge. So, for example, Mickey, we were talking about like the edge that lets you shoot a couple of pistols in combat or any of those cool edges. You could do that. You could increase any skill that's already equal to or greater than its linked attribute die by 1 die type.
Okay.
Or you could increase 2 skills that are lower than their linked attributes by 1 die each. So you can either get 2 lower skills up by 1 or 1 skill that's above its linked attribute up by 1. You could increase an attribute die by 1. So you could increase your strength, your agility, your vigor, etc.
Okay.
Typically, they cannot go above a D12. That's the highest you can get. Some of you, that won't be true. So Young, your starting attributes were a bit higher. So you can go a bit higher. Laugh track, in a couple of stats, which are strength and something else, you can also go higher. And while I remember, I'll take your strength back down, laugh track,
D8.
from D12 to a D8. Strength down 2 dice, save changes.
I would just say edges and edges have requirements sometimes as well. If you want to say,
so
edges have like...
edges always have requirements. They usually those requirements are a rank, which at character creation we ignored because in Rifts it's a heroic system and you ignore them at character creation. But now that we've got past that, you will only be able to take novice rank edges until you become seasoned. And you also have to have the trait prerequisites. So some will require a minimum strength or a minimum smarts or whatever. And some of them have precursor edges as well. So, to take a certain edge, you'll have to have another one. But it says it all in the book.
Cool.
So you can gain an edge, you can level up some skills, you could level up an attribute, or you can either permanently remove a minor hindrance or reduce a major hindrance from a major to a minor if that's possible, if it has multiple levels. With my permission, and I grant my permission, if you want to remove a major...
With my permission!
I will tell you when. If you want to remove a major hindrance that doesn't have a minor equivalent, we can save advancements up over a few sessions until you've got 2, and we'll spend all those 2 at once, but we'll do it with a bit of a role play reason. So I'll send all this out via WhatsApp for you to consider over the next few weeks, over the next week. We'll not spend it tonight, but you have an advance to spend. The other thing that's happened, Mike, is as a dragon hatchling, this is your second proper adventure session. You can now gain another hindrance. You've already gained 1 hindrance for 2 points after your first session with Sister Swan.
Gain 1 hindrance.
And you gain 1 hindrance. If it's minor, then you're up to 3 points total of your sort of points to spend. If it's major, then you've finished spending all of your character creation sort of hindrance points, at which point you'll experience a growth spurt and you get 4 points to spend on edges and stuff. But you and I will do that offline.
Okay.
You come up with a hindrance that you think suits based on what Yong has experienced with the party over the last few weeks.
Yep.
Come up with a hindrance that's maybe similar to one of them. Maybe it's something you've learned from them, like they're impulsive or they're a bit of a jerk or whatever. And then when
both of those things.
we've seen
one of the things I might have learned from my other players that they're either impulsive or a bit of a jerk. I mean, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, horse thief is a hindrance, I'm sure.
Yes.
Right. So, guys, before we close the session, now, what do you want to do with this bandit leader?
I think we just want to kill him, right?
Shake him down.
Well, we don't want information from him. Do we?
No,
We
I
don't
think
need
we-
him for anything else.
What about the stuff he's stolen?
Yeah.
I'm thinking this because I can't speak in
Well,
time form.
yeah.
I just don't have the lips, you see.
Well,
But you can psionically mind link with people.
I'm psionically mind linking. I'm thinking to them.
You can have
Like,
one of those sub vocalizers as well.
Some vocalizer.
No, it's not that he can't speak. It's that he doesn't know English yet as a language. He only knows Dragonese and Elven.
I
As
see.
What was he speaking
Every time he
before?
speaks, he just sets fire to things. I'm thinking my thoughts are we either take him back and he realizes the full fury of the law, or I think
mean,
where
you
Mike's
were
I
going
am
at
the
is
law.
where should we-
Can I just blow this guy up? I don't want to take him back. I don't want to put him on one of our horses. I don't want to interrogate him. He's a bandit scum who deserves to die. Harnett wants him ended.
I might do a
Wow.
potato and see if I can recruit him to become my bandit
Oh,
leader.
all right. I thought you were going to poison him and feed him to the other bandits.
Yeah, I want him to become my bandit king leader.
As
Unless-
you approach him, I'm all up for that. You can have him as an extra NPC actually, because he will just sit nicely in the group. You'll get 1 each then.
No, I can't
And
trust
I've
him.
got stats for him.
He's not a good
but-
person.
He,
It was pretty hardcore.
as you approach, he's sort of scrabbling backwards in the sand. Who's approaching him? Like Harnoop, you had some pretty strong
Not
opinions
me.
on this.
Well, no.
It's gonna also
That feels. Harnett doesn't care and doesn't want to waste his time bringing him back or interrogating him, but he doesn't know that maybe he doesn't even think that's an option, right? He thinks that, right, we're obviously going to kill him. It's not even a thing. So I wouldn't be rushing ahead because I don't know what everyone else is planning to do. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
I'm
so
walking behind, and I'll just, because I guess I was furthest away, right? If I'm slower than the big fuck off dragon, I'll probably be a bit further back. But I'm just looking cool.
So who wishes to approach him? Like Laugh Track, you're probably the closest. And also you were
And
kind of the one.
Yeah,
who
I don't
was
know. I
fixated
don't
on
know
him
if
first.
Laugh Track's in much of a mental state at the
No,
minute to be
you're getting it
approaching
together
him.
now.
So I'm kind of like, I mean, I'm sort of a bit broken at the minute. So I think I'm sort of more off to one
Are we-
side. Try not to let the other guys see that I'm actually quite shaken at the minute.
Are we all just trying to get the dragon to walk up to him
No,
through the sand while he fecalizes himself?
I'll tell you what. I'm looking at my powers. What's the range on this? Range is okay. Well, all the other bandits are scattered, right? We're sort
Oh
of
my God.
approaching.
I
He's
know
sort
what
of
you're going
cowering
to
in
do.
the dust, right? I'm just gonna
Yeah.
shoot a freaking missile at him. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm like, I don't care if he's cowering in the dust. That makes him a nice, easy target.
Yep.
So I'm going to shoot him really hard with a bolt, which is a slightly different spell that I've
You
used
shoot
before.
him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've
Because
changed.
it's not like he's gone, oh, I surrender, take me back. Oh, I'm just like,
No,
fine.
no,
It's still the fight, right?
Yeah, he's
As
just
far as
scrabbling in the
Harnoop's
dust.
concerned.
He's
He
he's
doesn't
not
know that we're out of
frustrated.
initiative. Harnoop is still in combat mode. All right. This is interesting. What's
No,
this do?
we're out of initiative.
Mike, only you will appreciate this, and it's disgustingness, but I am drinking Elvis juice.
Elvis juice. Oh,
It's just
great stuff.
tangerine in a can. It's amazing.
It's grapefruit
Yeah.
IPA. It's wonderful.
Right, let me try.
But
This
that's
is bold.
who knew you could milk your dog and get such great stuff.
So I'm going to cast the spell. Is there any
The darkness.
bonus for hitting a prone target who's basically given up?
No, there's actually a negative for ranged attacks on a prone
Let's
target.
not
But
talk about that then.
no. But I'm not going to give it to you because he's just static.
Okay.
He's not mechanically prone.
Spell casting.
He's not lying down taking cover. He's just sort of on his arse, not giving.
So I'm going to cast bolt rather than blast. Blast was that sort of glass grenade that I've done.
Yeah.
This is a bolt, which is just like a
Blast, except with a.
It's like a
different
spear,
letters.
like an obsidian spear. So I sort of do that action. This
That's cool.
black.
You almost shot put.
Yeah, almost. And this thing sort of emerges out of the ether and shoots towards him.
Amazing.
It's
I'm
dark,
going to
so
cast
you
it.
can-
I'm going to mega fire it to mega damage.
demonic.
Great.
Oh my
Which-
god.
If it comes up, we'll worry about it.
Okay.
I will click roll. I think that's right.
I'm thrilled to find out what happens.
Well, that was a failure. I'm going to use my one final penny
Yep.
because it would
You
be
should.
so. There we go. The other thing is, everyone else has done really impressive stuff. Yeah, I just saw Laugh Track run 60 feet in 2 seconds,
Yes.
and along with his melee buddy, they just go. I've seen Young turn into a dragon and roast like
Melee
6
buddy.
people.
Melee buddy.
I've seen such a like Dex or whatever there is. Swan has just fired some like I thought I was the coolest one here. Like yesterday, I thought I was definitely the coolest, and now I'm like not quite sure I am. So I really want to show off. So this is
way to do that is to kill a guy who's on the floor,
Defenseless.
clearly
You know it.
scrabbling over.
Oh,
Overkill
fine.
him because you got a raise. So tell me, Hanu,
With an
what happens
obsidian
next?
demonic
well, I used
spear.
the disintegrate mega power bonus,
Right.
which I will read to you, so you know.
Okay.
I shall read it to you.
If the bolt incapacitates a creature,
Yep.
it must make a vigor roll, or its body turns to dust.
Okay. This could be very interesting.
Ooh.
That's terrifying because that means that you can one shot almost one
It's only
shot.
if it incapacitates. So I don't know if that kind of shaken. I don't know what the mechanics.
No,
of that
no.
is.
You'd have to wound them, but this would be right. Okay. So you've hit
What to
him.
do damage?
Roll damage.
So it's 5d6.
Now he's in good armor, so he's definitely tougher than the other bandits.
5d6 mega damage with all the things I use. I can't see this. Sorry, this is annoying. Powers, bolt, greater bolt, 4d6, but you've got a raise, so it's 5d6.
Yeah,
So
5d6.
how do I do that? But
So you click on the 4d6.
there's nothing to click.
If it's is it in your quick access?
It is now.
Because if you click on it in quick access, it should have a 4d6 damage button. Most of the powers do.
Bolt. There we go.
And then you click it with a raise. It's like
There
the
we
middle
go.
button at the bottom. There we go. Oh my god, two of them
Nice.
exploded.
Oh, yeah.
So that's mega damage.
23 mega damage.
Almost as much as I took.
Yeah.
So, right. 23 mega damage. Okay. So, as you hurl this obsidian sphere, he looks up and it's almost involuntarily the faceplate on his armor sort of pops up, and you see it's like a scarred middle-aged bandit face. He's got flecks of grey in his beard. He looks pretty rugged, but he looks now terrified. His eyes are wide and he knows his time is up. And you hurl this ball and he just shouts, "The boss will find you!" And then tell me what happens, Harnoop.
Boss.
Well, it disintegrates him. So as soon as it sort of penetrates him, you'd expect like his head to blow off or blood to splatter. It just vaporizes. Very similar to when Yong breathed fire on him, it just turned to ash. It just collapses, and it's
crack as his armor breaks, and then almost immediately, like it's like the
dust.
Thanos snap.
Yeah, it's just we're going to be breathing in bits of Bandit Leader for a few seconds.
Wow.
Huh.
So with
I'm
his
not
sort
sure.
of eye of the boss is going to get you for this or whatever it was, he disappears, and you've defeated the bandits.
But
Woohoo!
what was that little kind of hook, adventure hook? He just dropped in front of us.
I know.
Why would I give him last words? I mean,
Who is the boss of the bandits?
I made a fundamental mistake by calling him bandit leader. It was lazy shorthand at the end of last week. But what you do know is
every leader's got another leader.
What you do know is, first off, they're not carrying all the stuff they stole with them right now, and the bandits that survived and legged it hopped on bikes and went somewhere further north.
It'd be really useful to know where that was.
So presumably they have a hideout somewhere. This may not be all of them. It might be, but it may not be. Some of them got away and survived, and they have got a hideout. Or, you would assume they have a hideout.
Yeah.
So the question is, have you driven them off or not? I'm not. That's up to you guys whether you go back to the council and say, yeah, we're done with the bandits.
No, I think what we do is
you need a guy you can question, but you've just vaporized him.
Yeah, we could fly, couldn't we? We could
fly, motherfuckers.
We could fly. We could take off, all 5 of us, all 7 of us. We could just fly there. Right, you can fly, can't you? Can't you? You guys not fly?
I can.
Well,
yeah, Harnoop can.
Me and Harnoop, you guys could sit here, make a campfire, sing a few songs,
eat the
fry some
horses.
I was going to say,
we could
how big is Yong in terms of getting on his back and flying?
How many of you have exotic riding skill to ride a dragon without falling off and dying?
He's just a little Korean boy. He's not that exotic.
Little Korean boys are the most exotic.
Well, you have to pay a premium.
you're going to ride a little Korean boy
No,
to the hidden cave.
Into a desert canyon.
I was mainly asking for, because when we talked about his size, it wasn't very specific.
Yeah, he's
about
he's about 20 meters long. So
is it 20 meters or is it 20 feet? Let's just have a look because
good point.
Big difference.
Yeah, I think no, it is.
Size.
I think it's 20 feet. You're right. I think it's 20 feet because you are a young dragon. You mean you're a hatchling? You've only hatched recently. You're not fully grown.
I mean,
in fact, one of the edges you can take
is
to grow. Literally, you can change in size.
Sorry,
Can we just get him to fly carefully so that we don't have to worry about being exotic riders? Just fly carefully.
We could barely manage riding on a horse.
Yeah,
he could fly like a big kestrel causing a shadow.
What I'm going to say is, given that Yong has been flying less than 3 weeks and is still learning to fly properly, and 2 of you managed to injure yourselves on horses.
I was mainly asking want to know how big he was.
Now, what I'm not saying is that by the end of this, as a Merc crew, you can't use Yong as a vehicle, particularly when he's had a growth spurt. But for now, it's not something that that you're going to be able to do. The other problem is, if there is a mistake while you're on Yong, even if he's flying relatively low, the fall damage will be pretty nasty.
Yeah, 15 to 20 feet long.
Yeah,
we can't duct tape ourselves.
Young can be air support as much as he wants. That's cool because that's what he's handy.
Do you know we never did? We
never
did call in the air support, did we? That's a good point. We've still got Mayboy back at home. Back at base.
Could now call Slice in. You could choose to sort of. What I'm going to say is, it's obvious to you now, like the tracks the bandits have left. You've been trying to kind of follow them for a few days. The attack on the caravan was 16 days ago, and so they hadn't left great tracks. They've all just ridden off on bikes in the last 10 minutes. You will pretty easily be able to track where those bikes go. So if they've scattered into the desert, that's one thing. If they've been daft enough to go back to their hideout, it should not be difficult to find them. And they weren't thinking rationally, they were panicked. So they might just lead you straight to where you need to go. So it may be worth it if you want to call Slice in for a bit of heavy air support. So you've got another mega damage dude.
So I know we're not wounded, but I've cast a lot of spells. I need a little nap. Not a nap. I need, in order to recharge my abilities, I need to have a small rest.
If you were to rest for an hour or so, it would give Laugh Track a bit of time to come down from his craziness. What I was going to say was, when you rested after this, you'd get your bennies back. Now, actually, looking at the time tonight, that's going to tie in quite nicely. So everyone will start the next session with 3 bennies. How long would you like to rest for, Hanu? Because I think you get 5 power points per
5 an
hour
hour.
of rest.
5
and
an hour.
You can spend a benny to.
Yeah,
gain...
but I can rest on a horse as long as it's not. If it's not like if we're just walking and I'm on a horse, that counts. It's just it's not asleep. It's just low energy activity.
It's like a short rest in D&D. You don't have to be dozing. You just can't do anything strenuous.
So to fully regen it'd be 4 hours. But maybe if we did an hour and then we were slowly riding on a horse for a couple of hours,
So I'm going to say immediately give yourself 5 points. Unless anyone objects, then, taking an hour to come together. And in that time, Slice will easily be able to join you. Even if he's being subtle and not coming at 300 miles an hour.
I know we've got the horses, but we killed a bunch of bandits. So are there bikes and trucks and other equipment from the...
Oh, we could ride bikes.
You know what I mean?
Like in Mad Max.
The bandits who survived left. There must be half a dozen or so transports left.
Yeah, so there's you find in the brush and stuff up at the top a couple of bikes. It looks like these bandits came sort of 2 to a bike, and there was one ATV, sort of I guess it's not really a 4-seater, but 4 guys could hang off it. So most of them disappeared in that. So that brought like 4 of them, and then there were 5 or 6 bikes, and they've all sort of separated up and gone. But there's 2 bikes spare. They're both hover bikes. They're both, I don't think I've got a picture of this, but I'll get one in for next week. The Adventurer Riffs hover bike, which is almost like a trike with 3 sort of fans that makes it into a cool hover bike. I'll put a picture up in the thing for next week. So you've got a couple of bikes if people are better at driving than they are at riding, and you could take those instead of or as well as the horses. You could always tie up the horses here and assume nothing will come back to eat them.
Can't leave the horses here.
No.
Unless we're all on motorized transport, we'll just take the horses with us.
Well, that's it. You can ride and lead a horse. It's not a problem.
We could send the horses back. They'll find their way back.
just set them loose in Rift. Yeah, they'll be fine. They won't get eaten by a giant squid monster.
We've not come far.
Does Yong... So Yong... Well, I know that Harnuk knew that Yong was a shapeshifted dragon.
Yes.
But I don't think Harnuk knows much about dragons in the world of Rifts.
No,
I don't know anything about dragons either.
I'm afraid I'm going to need to go, okay?
No worries, buddy. We're pretty much
week.
wrapped up.
Okay,
we'll see you
mate.
next week, mate.
All right, mate.
Dragon-related questions.
No, mate.
Yeah. Now we're into... Welcome to Dragon Hour.
Well, is there any... Does he need to eat? Because obviously he's grown quite big and he's a big fat bastard.
It's all muscle.
It's
layered.
all magical energy that's making you grow. It's not actual nutrition.
I don't need to eat. I eat for pleasure.
No. Yeah, you can eat for pleasure, but rules-wise, dragons do not need to eat to survive. They consume PPE from the environment.
I want you to eat some horse, because we've got horses. So I thought maybe we'll have to eat the horse.
Yeah, I mean, you might choose to eat a horse, but it's literally a fetish sort of pleasure thing to eat. You do not need to eat as a dragon.
A fetish thing. Fine.
Yeah, so you have a fetish for horse eating.
So I guess
horse
Harnuk would ask Yong that. He says, I knew you were mysterious, Mr. Yong, but I didn't know you were that big. Do you really need to eat to sustain your mass?
I don't think so.
Okay. You don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
You're not the one to ask.
I've never done this before.
And what I'm going to say is...
Your ward? Is she her ward? Is she your mum? What's going on there?
All I know is that I hatched in the nunnery.
What fetish?
Yeah, and Sister Swan had been my contact before I'd hatched. If you get that.
Yes.
These conversations are going on, and you realize this now, Harnu and Laugh Track. You've had conversations with Yong several times, and only now in the sort of realization of his true form and not seeing him as an Asian boy, which is frankly coloured your judgment because everyone's inherently
Just makes you all a
racist.
bit racist.
Yeah. You only now do you realise that when you hear him speak, you hear it in your mind. It's a psionic link. It's not spoken word. He might be moving his lips, but you realise he isn't speaking English to you. He's communicating it through a psionic mind link.
Like badly dubbed kung fu film.
Yeah. I am a young boy. I suggest that later on, a point in English as a language would not hurt Young so that he can actually speak. But
I think so.
But that's when you come to get your skill points. But yeah, it's a psychic communication. But yes, you may now continue your conversation.
Yes.
Oh,
so basically, my egg was part of was a monastery relic for who knows, hundreds, dozens, millennia. There's no way to know. And I had a psychic connection with one of the sisters at the nunnery. And when I hatched, the nunnery was under assault by demonic forces. Yeah, demonic forces.
We all go, ooh.
I know.
Demons.
There was
not that fake.
I thought you were a DB.
Yeah, there were these like demonic forces that were kind of like attacking the nunnery. And Sister Swan and I, we managed to fight these demonic forces off. And one of them
beat them off with both hands.
We beat them off with both hands. And one of them was extremely powerful.
Large.
Yeah, one of them was big. Very big.
And hard.
Yeah, pretty hard. Yeah, we managed to beat them off.
You beat him off so badly
until they finished. There was some minor demonic forces, and there was a major demonic force. And anyway, we managed to defeat them, but we didn't really defeat them. We pushed them away,
pushed them back, but they're still sort out. They're still sort. Are they still after the monastery, or are they after you? Do you know what they're?
I don't think they're after the monastery because they killed everyone there,
and it burnt to the ground.
We barely escaped with our lives.
Well, you probably burnt to the darker Sister Swans a bit.
Well,
they might have something to do with burning.
They were after the relics. And the major relic was Young. So
yes.
They didn't get what they wanted. There were two relics. And only two of the relics escaped from there. One of them was Young, and one of them was the Holy Hammer of Saint Sebastian, which I made up as a stupid, a relic of holiness. And Gaz took it, and I was like, oh, fuck, now I've got to make it.
I'm quite impressionable, basically, as a dragon hatchling. So if I was to fall into the wrong hands early on, I could become an instrument of evil.
But I'm the right hand.
He met you guys, so it's fine.
I met you guys, so it's fine. And Sister Swan, is an agent of chaos, but she's also good chaos.
Yeah, chaotic good.
Chaotic good.
Chaotic good.
Sure. Harnoop is not evil. He's not a nice guy.
Well, he's just socially awkward, isn't he?
Socially awkward, takes what he wants, doesn't really care about the consequences, doesn't often come up against people who could stop him. So he's used to just taking what he wants, and it's fine.
I'm used to Phil playing good characters. This is
it's quite fun.
Yeah. I suppose Calistinius is quite good. He's just arrogant.
Yeah, Calistinius is arrogant. Whereas Harnoop
I love Kel.
I
can't wait to play Traveller again. Kel is my favourite addition to Traveller in the longest time.
It really is. I've been watching it recently to try and remind myself of what's happened, and it's so much fun.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
I'm very, very excited to be back in Traveller, but we've got a campaign to play.
We've got plenty to do in Rift Earth.
And one of the reasons I killed the bandit leader was I didn't want another interrogation scene with Petito trying to. And I realised halfway through that he wasn't going to try and do anything weird.
It wasn't.
But I was like, too late. Harnoop was like, we'll kill him. It's fine.
I mean, to be fair, in a wider group, it's like kill them because it's not worth it. But when Andy's not here, actually, we've got the room to role play.
I know,
We
sorry,
don't have to worry about
no,
stupid
no.
stuff.
You know, when I think back to that, like, because it feels like with Gaz has gone and Mickey seems to have lost connection or something. Like Mickey's just kind of disappeared.
Did he WhatsApp or anything, or did he just?
He might have done. I didn't.
No, you look like he'd frozen.
He did look like
Yeah,
he was frozen, but
He did.
I was like, what's he doing? He's just like.
I was like, we're boring him with this dragon chat. So you're watching the old?
No, when I watched because I usually will watch the last episode, or I might.
You've got to
watch
stop
it.
the recording.
Shall I stop it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we doing any more? Are we doing any more?
No, we're done for tonight. We can chew the fat a bit, but I think we'll have a natural break here, and then next week we'll come back. We'll take our advances, and we'll start to do a bit more role play and a bit less grindy combat.